got to stop playing Forza.
No, you gotta stop playing Forza. But hey, there was a game that I had. I'm gonna plug. Well, first of all, let me just plug the fact that this will get the commercial out of the way. Belfort is in its final couple days, the Kickstarter. So if you don't own a copy of Belfort, or you don't own a copy of the Belfort expansion, or you don't own a copy of the newest expansion, those are all up and up for grabs. You can back it now on the old Kickstarter. So yeah, we actually did add an exclusive. There is a metal key, the key to the Belfort Treasury, that people can use as their first player marker. And there's also actually a module in the new expansion called the Locksmiths Guild, and the key will be the key that you'll hand back and forth as you activate the Locksmiths Guild. When you have the key to the locks from the locksmiths, it'll unlock powers and abilities. Jeez, what are you eating over there? You're burping all over my touchdown call. But anyway, oh look, it's Joe Wiggins, everybody.
Hey, Joe. That was great, perfect timing, I guess.
Yes.
Are we doing a live box opening?
Oh, you got your ground floor from the second edition.
Yep.
Ground Floor, originally published by TMG.
Not good enough to reprint, though.
I think he changed up the game a little bit. But I don't know. It's cool that somebody picked it up, though.
Oh, what an ass. What an ass.
Other than that, I actually have a grievance, but I don't know if we want to dive into grievances right away. Do we want to
Let's dive into grievances. Sure, why
not? All right. So here, this one's a little bit like weirdly touchy in a weird way, but so I'm going to try to explain this as best as I can. So I work from home, as most people know, for TMG, and I do my video stuff. I do my podcast stuff from home. Like during the summer, it was sometimes challenging with my kids at home with me, and like having them like, hey, can't be like, walking elephants up and down the hallways upstairs when I'm doing this stuff. I got to have it quiet, that kind of thing. But they were usually pretty good about it. But obviously when school started, they're gone. So I haven't had as much difficulty with that, with that situation. However, lately I have been getting like I'll be working and like the doorbell will ring, and the thing is that all of my my mail carriers and like FedEx and everything, I've told them all, it's like, hey, just don't ring the doorbell. The dogs go crazy. I work from home. I sometimes need quiet. And they all just know. They just leave the packages outside the door. My dogs rarely notice them, if they don't look out the window looking for them. So I go out and I get them, and that's that. So the doorbell is rung on a fairly regular basis in the last the last 3 weeks. Like the doorbell rings, and I go downstairs, and it's like, and even on days when it's like super cold outside, there's like this 5-year-old kid and like this 4-year-old kid sitting there, and they all ask, can your kids come out and play? And I'm like, they're in school, I'm sorry, and here's well, you laugh. Okay, so here's the problem. Well, I shouldn't say a problem, but here's the situation. It's kind of a unique situation because of the fact that they are homeschooled and they have learning disabilities. And so it's like they don't like really know any better. And it's really troublesome for me. Like there was one day, it was like just recently we had like this cold snap where it got down to like 10, 11 degrees, like freezing rain, super cold. And both of these kids are like, they have pajama bottoms on and like down jackets on, and that's it. And I'm like, and one of them wasn't even wearing shoes. He had slippers on. And it isn't like they like live a good block away. Like there's like basically it's a trudge for them. And I'm like, why are you in front of my house right now? I mean, it's like they got it. I mean, it's like they got into their head that they wanted to come over and play because they've come over and when my kids have been outside and like having like squirt gun fights and doing stuff outside, they've noticed, they've come over, and that's fine. They're cool kids. But it's like they're homeschooled, they live at home with their parents. It's like, who's not watching you right now? What's going on? And so I've talked to their mother, who's the stay-at-home mom, and I said, you can't. I work from home. It disrupts me. I don't want to be mean to your sons, but you've got to stop them from coming over. And like every single time, she's very apologetic and very apologetic. It happened 4 days in a row. like it's like I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm trying to be understanding, and like today, like I saw them walking up my driveway. I saw them come over and ring the doorbell, and I saw the mom like running from like a block away, like running out, and I'm like, and the dogs are going crazy, like just barking up the storm. Thankfully, I wasn't trying to record anything at that moment, but I was getting ready to do so. And they just sat there going ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding. I mean, like literally, it was like just hammering on it. I finally went to the door and I said, "You need to stop ringing my doorbell." And then the mom showed up. She said, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And I'm just like, I didn't want to be that guy and start screaming at them, or screaming at her, like, "What is your problem? This is, it's like, how are these kids escaping from you on like a regular basis?" But I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I honestly don't know what to do. And she's like, "I'm so sorry." I was like, it's fine. I said, just please. I work from home. I've told you this. Just please, please take them. And she's like, "I'm so sorry." What do I do? I mean,
Wow.
Best $5 I ever spent.
For what?
Paying the kids to come ring your doorbell every day.
I honestly don't. I mean, there's just no good solvency there.
It would suck to call the police, to call the sheriff's office and file a complaint.
Well, because I don't want to do that.
It's not illegal, though. I mean, if they come over, if their kids coming over and ringing the doorbell during normal days, I don't think there's anything they can do about it because they're actually coming over, like, not maliciously, but they're just dumb. I don't think they can get in trouble for it.
It's not the kid's fault. It's the parents' fault.
It's the parents' fault.
The sheriff talking to the parents saying, "Hey, look, take care of your kids."
Yeah.
How old are these kids?
Like I said, I think one's like 5 or 6. The other one's got to be 4.
Wow.
Okay, so I mean, they're right at that age where, like, you
can't hit them.
It's almost like
wait, because they're too young or too old. What?
I don't know. It just sounded right. It sounded like the right thing to say.
No, it's a very frustrating situation, and like I said, and it's just like, and then, I mean, I really wanted to let the mom have with both barrels and just say, "Look, you are just what is wrong with you? This is ridiculous." But it's
Jane, you ignorant slut.
But I mean, that's not my job either. I don't know. I just took it as like, just
replace the doorbell. Replace the doorbell.
I was just gonna say, could you move the doorbell up higher so that these little kids can't reach it?
I shouldn't have to.
No, but it would solve your problem if you put it high enough so that 4 and 5-year-olds
they would just knock. They would just knock. And my dogs, as soon as they hear somebody knock on the door, they just go crazy. So I mean, it's just like
I think clearly you have to move. That's it.
Yeah.
You're done.
How's Malta this time of year?
I wouldn't know. Malta's in my rearview mirror and it's not coming back.
Oh.
I'm sure it's lovely though.
I thought there was like an open villa somewhere and I could just go there and move in.
Oh man, that place we were living was the best, absolute best. I think it's already gone through 2 tenants. We were told by our old neighbor, which is absolutely insane. But yeah,
there's another. I just got a request. There's a young lady who has a board game channel who lives in Malta.
Would that be Cardboard Rhino, Eleni?
Yes, yes.
She is a lovely young lady. She's really great. I've hung out with her a couple of times. She did a top 10 with me right before I left. So that's right.
Go on.
A bump.
Go on.
What a jerk.
Oh, she was reaching out to TMG, you mean?
Yeah, she wanted some stuff, and I told her, "Are you going to be in Essen?" And she said no, and I was like,
she's not.
Said,
no.
Well, I mean, and I just said it costs a lot of money to send stuff to you, and I was like, I think we're going to be able to figure out a way to like send stuff while not I won't be there, but one of my team members is going to figure out a way to like send stuff from Spiel that'll cost less to get it there. So.
Well, I mean, she's probably worth it. She is an up-and-comer. I mean, I think she's going to be one of the few channels that breaks through and continues to grow. She's a regular on Dice Tower, one of the shows, the Board Game Breakfast, and she has pretty regular output. And, so I think she's really developing a following.
I was a little bit sad. I mean, yeah, she does great work. I was a little bit sad. A lot of the stuff she does is for older games, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Mm-hmm. It's always nice to see like old classics getting some love, but I mean, she definitely, to grow her channel, she needs some newer stuff. So I was like, okay, let's get her some of our newer games, and then hopefully I can draw more attention to her channel, and she can go from there.
Yeah, I don't think you'll regret it.
No, I mean, it's the price of a game and shipping. It's not that big of a deal. It's just a little annoying to send stuff to Malta. Richard.
Yeah. Especially when it then gets stuck in customs and costs an extra 30 euros to get out of that boondoggle.
Are they just corrupt or inept?
The latter. It's always the latter. It's very rarely the former.
I know, like Brazil is corrupt as heck. So
yes. I've heard a lot of that. Yeah.
But hey, they got to eat too, right? Anyway. I'm waiting patiently for Anthony to show up before I do my initials. So that's why I'm waiting.
I thought tonight was the big Essen.
Well, yeah, we can if anybody's got Essen stuff that they're excited about. Richard, are you skipping Spiel then, or are you going?
I am not going for the first time in I think 7 years.
Oh my gosh, are they going to be able to hold the show without you?
I think it'll be a bit of a blow, but they'll muddle through somehow.
Yeah, like I heard
Dro does to their
people leaping off of Suicide Hill.
I will miss seeing Richard from a distance run across the hall from one booth, and it's like, that's Richard. I'll go and say hello. Oh, it's too late. He's gone. It's like Road Runner, or Scooby Doo. Like Scooby Doo, where you got the corridor, and you got these doors. All of a sudden, you'll see, it's Richard, and boom, he's gone, and then he's behind you, boom, and then it's like in front of you again.
Meep, zip bang. So there. Well, I mean, we're waiting for, like I said, I just talked to Anthony on the phone. I
got a grievance if you want to listen.
Go ahead, give me a grievance.
I've just got a new PC yesterday, and I'm slowly...
don't you just hate that new technology? Oh, I agree.
No, it's not. It's the old technology. That's Windows, full stop. I've been waiting for bloody Windows to back up my old information from my old computer, and it says, "Oh, run now, back it up now." You click on it, it turns over, and then it just does nothing. It's been like this for months.
Are you still talking about me? No.
Why would I say? Why would I have a grievance about Richard?
I'm sure somebody's got a problem with him.
Yeah.
Oh, there are people who have problems with me. Plenty.
Why would they have problems with you?
I don't know. There are people out there who subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell specifically so they can get an email every time I post a video, so they can be the first there to thumb it down.
Wow.
Yeah. Joke's on them. Doesn't matter whether it's thumbs up or thumbs down. Any kind of response pushes you up on the popularity meter on the algorithm for YouTube. So they're only helping me. Chumps.
Yeah. Have you got the copy of Claustrophobia, Richard?
Have I got? No, I have not. You guys contacted me. It wasn't you. I mean, because I know you're adjacent. It was one of them, and I said no. They sent me the rules. I looked at them. It didn't seem like there was enough of a difference for me to do a whole nother video. And I'm still bummed that those miniatures will not be pre-painted. Some of us do not have the paints or the patience. And so I will stick with my original claustrophobia. Thank you very much.
I bet you if you asked Rob Oren to do it for you, he'd paint them for you.
Yeah.
And he does fantastic work.
Yes, he does.
Come on, back up, you bastard.
So if you asked him kindly, he'd probably do it for you.
Always dependent on the kindness of strangers. It's true. But yeah, I suppose that's certainly possible.
Yeah, I've been dependent on the kindness of strangers, but Lat still hasn't sent me Jack. Maybe because I live over here. That's why.
Well, yeah, you live in like merry old England. No, France. Sorry.
Yeah,
it's the way that you talk that's merry old England. So.
Oh yeah. Love it.
No, so I don't know. I mean, does anybody want to like throw out a name of a game that they're excited about that's coming out at Spiel, and we can just discuss it? I mean, I've got a small little list of things that I'm excited about.
Nope.
Yes, I could probably list. I don't know, probably 30 or 40.
I can't list a single game that I'm excited about, like really excited about coming from Essen, which I'm very surprised.
You're dead inside, sir.
I feel like it. I went through the
How
list.
do you not? How do you not have anything? Are you serious?
Name a game that you think I would like.
I am waiting patiently for the Spiel thingy. That's why I accidentally bumped out, because I forgot how tabs work, and I just went over to the Spiel preview and closed down this, so I had to come back. Let's see. Right. Okay. I've got my must-haves. How many? I have 27 things I've labeled as must-haves.
Holy crap!
Oh, jeez! Look at Mr. Moneybags here.
I can take out the expansions if you want me to talk only games, if that will help.
Well, give me one of your only games that you're thinking about.
All right. Well, as a lifelong Feld fan, of course, I have to play Carpe Diem. And there's another Feld game, Forum Trajanium, or the sequel to Trajan, basically. So right off the bat, it's going to be a banner year for Feld fans. If you like escape room at home type things, you know, the exits, the unlocks and whatnot, what I think might be the best one to date is coming out. It's called Escape Tales. I'm very excited about that. I actually got to see it at UKGE, and I was really impressed by it.
DuckTales.
Yeah. Now that I could be interested in if there was a DuckTales game.
Oh, a DuckTales game. That would be good. Anyway, go ahead. We're talking over you.
Underwater Cities. I just put a video up for it the other day. That is fantastic. Vladimir Suchy. If you have a problem with Vladimir Suchy, there's really something wrong with you.
The Vladimir Suchy is like one of my. He's like in my top 3 of designers.
And he's in my top 10. And so I'm right there with you. And the interesting thing about this too is I don't quite understand why he and his family have decided to start their own little independent publisher, and they're publishing it themselves, but they're completely self-funding. They are not going on Kickstarter. And, so they funded their own print run, and they're launching it at Essen. And depending on how well that does, that's his springboard to continue publishing his own stuff, which would be great, because as good as he is, with your shipyards and your last wills and all that, he doesn't put stuff out very often. I don't know why. I don't know if you guys have ever talked to him, Lance, at TMG or something like that, but he's amazing.
I talked to him just to fanboy on him, and I think his games are amazing. But yeah, I told Daniel, I said, go and talk to him, and just if anything, like see if he wants help in getting like basically getting his games over to America, if he wants, like something we could do, partner up with him in some way. I'm sure he's got a list of people.
Yeah, well, since he's self-publishing, I can only imagine. Yeah, he's taking that next step, and so he'd probably be a really good partner. And I think his games obviously are a good fit for TMG. And
what's your favorite game by him?
Huh?
What's your favorite game by him?
I'm gonna have to go with Shipyards.
Yeah. Shipyard is, but I mean, League of Six is right up there for me as well.
It doesn't work for 2 players, so I don't know. I've never tried it.
That's fair.
Yeah, I do have actually. I have that copy of that little game he did, Klondike Rush or something like that. I haven't played it yet. Got a very small print run, just kind of disappeared. But Yeah, but this new one, apparently he's been working on it for 5 or 6 years, and it's finally ready for prime time, and it's really good. So I would be very excited about that if I hadn't already played it. But I mean, come on, Blackout, the latest game from Alexander Pfister.
That looks cool.
I'll try it based on name alone.
Keith!
Yeah,
You said you weren't showing up.
I'm showing up just for a few minutes. I'm even on the iPad instead of the computer.
Oh, okay.
My night just got better.
Of course, is lovely. As Lance can attest, Teotihuacan is getting its launch, so that's a pretty big deal.
I don't even want to pronounce that game, let alone play it.
What
don't you want to play
games do you like? I mean, but besides Delve.
Shark games, that's what Pete likes.
I like highly thematic Ameritrash games.
Yes,
and
which
I like
very little so far. Or
I
little
like
to none.
Yeah, and I like LCG type games, and I like dice rolling games, but not Euro dice rolling games like like games like Las Vegas or Roll Player, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So basically, you like everything but Euro games.
Yeah, there are a few Euro games I like, but not many. I'm not a big Euro guy. I've got Yokohama. I like it. It's a decent worker placement game, Euro game. I like what's another Euro game, like big Euro game? There really aren't many. I'm not a huge, like I said, I'm not a huge Euro game guy, and most of the games in Essen are, of course.
Well, of course, yeah, that's its very nature.
So that's why I don't get excited for Essen, and that's why I've never gone.
Yeah, it's okay. See, so that explains the dead inside.
Yes.
Clearly.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a reason. It's not bashing Essen. There's just not a lot of games in my wheelhouse that come out of Essen. Most of my stuff comes out of Gen Con or will come out at PAX.
All right, well, then I'm going to extend my net from my must-have to my highly anticipated as well. To the filters. To the filter fish. Interested. All right. I'll probably have some more Ameritrashy stuff for you in there, surely. But I have. What about Stygian Society? Come on.
Never heard of it.
What? Are you in this industry?
Yeah, in America.
Yeah.
Educate me, Richard, because I don't know it either.
Stygian Society is you remember Shogun and Wallenstein, the dice tower
like
thing?
Shogun. That's one it's in my collection.
Yep. Well, if you like the dice tower,
don't you mean samurai swords? I'm sorry. Shogun was the old. Never mind.
Are you talking about the old TV miniseries from the 70s?
No. There was a game called So like when Axis and Allies took off, they then they had the Game Master series, and they had also a game called Shogun, which then they got in trouble because of the fact that there was the old TV series and book Shogun, and so they changed the name to Samurai Swords. But I own an original Shogun board game, and I'm pretty proud of it. So anyway. Yeah. So anyway, but that was Shogun before there was Shogun, I guess is what. Anyway, but carry on with your. Yes, carry on.
Let's see. So, Pete, like I said, you might be interested in Stygian Society. It takes that same idea of the cube tower, but now it's a cooperative game where it's a dungeon crawler, like a tower climber, and every round, whatever character you are, you've got certain cards, and you level up, of course, the game and get more powers. Whatever card you choose to use tells you, right, okay, if you're going to use that, throw in 3 blue cubes and a red cube. Oh, and also every time you throw in your good cubes that you hope will come out of the tower to power up your spells and whatnot, you also have to throw in a certain number of the bad cubes that the bad guys build up. And, they all win, but if you know a cube tower, it has a memory, only certain stuff comes out. And so you're hoping to get your stuff. So it has that kind of, slot machine feel. You're like, yes, or where are those? Why are they all stuck in there? And you're always waiting because as more and more bad guy cubes come out, they build up over time until there's going to be some big apocalyptic thing they do to wipe you all out. And so you're preparing for that. It's actually really, really clever. Tons of really sharp stuff. And it's a co-op game, so I know for some people that would turn you off. But the interesting thing about it is, as often as not, because this is a really strong teamwork game, this round, the spells, the abilities, the weapons I've got are not going to be particularly good. I'll do an assist move, which means I throw in cubes that aren't even for my color, but I'm throwing them in because they're really your color. They're magic cubes as opposed to melee cubes, and hopefully they'll come out so you'll be set up on your turn. It was actually pretty fun. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's just basically, you know, making these decisions, throwing more cubes into the tower, and that never gets old. You know, it really puts that front and center, and we enjoyed it quite a bit. So that might be one you would like.
It just went through Kickstarter.
Yeah, that's eight games, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
And so this is just a demo, right?
Is it? Oh, I thought it was. For some reason, when he talked to me months ago, he said that there's planning on having it for sale there, but maybe not. Perhaps I should amend my search. It is demo. All right, hold on. Back to the fillers.
I was like, yeah, Richard.
The right one.
Richard.
All righty. No demos, only for sale, no expansions, only standalone. Go. Go. All right. That shows me 76 games.
I've got like 10 on my list.
In terms of actual for sale, well, I guess I just love games more than you guys. What can I say?
I'm probably looking my list right now. So
my top thing is an expansion.
What's that, Keith?
The expansion to Feast for Odin. That's my most thing I want.
Feast for Odin. Oh, and that one didn't even make my list.
Love that game.
What about Shadows, Amsterdam? Pete, you might be interested in that.
I just ordered that from Board Game Geek.
Yeah. Oh, is it Board Game Geek selling it?
Board Game Geek has it for a early sale right now. They got basically dibs to sell it first in the U.S. and it's on the Geek Store right now.
Okay.
So go to the Geek Store, buy Shadows Amsterdam.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very cool.
What is that? What is the hook on that one?
Shadows
Mysterium Codenames.
It's cooperative. Codenames meets Mysterium, or you could say Dixit Mysterium.
All right, I'm out.
Dixit meets Codenames.
Or Dixit meets Codenames. Yeah.
Basically, the gist is you've got two teams kind of racing to get out of the town when you play with 4 players, and you're giving the clues like a Mysterium type clue, but it's matching. The clues are matching a path on a board, kind of like Codenames would be played. So it looks really fun for me because Mysterium is one of my top games ever.
Yeah. Oh, it's actually it's a nice thing too. It works really well for 2. We got a copy. My video will probably go up for it next week on Monday or Tuesday. And yeah, it's really sharp. The only problem
for 2 is it just a race against the clock?
Now I was going to say the big problem with it is it only allows for real-time play, and that's going to be such a huge turnoff for so many people who would otherwise
usually
love
hate
it.
real-time.
Well, I experienced my real life turn-based, so yeah. I'm Pete. Nothing makes me happy.
Nope, not at Essen. It's just not my kind of show.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of Ameritrash games coming out, and I just have them all marked as crap. Don't care.
There's a loan coming out at Essen from Horrible.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's
and the loan is fantastic.
Yeah. What's wrong, Pete? What's wrong with the loan?
Never heard of it.
One against many. It's super awesome, dude.
Does it have sharks in it? Or Star Wars? Or robots in disguise, maybe?
There are robots in disguise, I bet.
Considering the fact that you designed a dungeon crawl, I'm going to say you're interested in fantasy dungeon crawls.
I do like fantasy dungeon crawl.
Well, the point of this one is it flips the script. There's only one player who is the hero, who is alone, and all the other players around the table are dungeon masters trying to destroy him.
Yes.
That sounds interesting.
It's like
Go on.
Dead Space, sorry, the computer game.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
The old EA game? So is it a sci-fi setting?
It's a sci-fi setting.
So it's like a Space Hulky type thing?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Okay, I assumed it was fantasy. I just assumed it was. But yeah, a Space Hulky thing would work too.
No, it's a space, so you've got a scanner, so you can... it's like in Alien, you got the little sound tracker which detects there's movement, there's blips on your little scanner. And so, like, the baddies are plotting against you and they're saying, well, what monster should we put where? And then let them know that, oh, right, there's a monster in this sector here, there's a monster in this sector here. Oh, it's something here, it's not a monster. Pretend maybe it's maybe it's a life form or a cat or something. I don't know.
So it's Descent, right? Because if I play Descent from the role of the Overlord, I'm the hero, and I got 3 assholes coming into my house.
Very true,
Three
Keith.
murder
Very
hobos
true.
trying to break into my house and take my things. Oh, I want to say this non board game that okay. Has anybody heard of the computer game Dwarven Fortress?
No.
Okay, Dwarven
Yes.
Fortress. Okay, it's an old school, very Luddite type game that has almost no instructions, and it's all about basically creating your Dwarven Fortress. And procedurally generated, has a rampant cult following, but bad UI. It's very. I played it. I've enjoyed it, but it definitely has all these like hurdles you have to get through to figure out what you're doing. However, somebody took that idea of Dwarven Fortress and gave it a very unfortunate name, in my opinion, called RimWorld is what it's called. Like RIMWORLD.
Oh my! There was something lost in translation there. Definitely.
Yes. Okay, but this is a game that has that same thing. It's basically your people. You get 3 people that crash land on a planet.
All right. Who's manipulating game pieces around? Because it's getting loud.
Yeah. It's Mr. Just Unboxed His Game guy.
Okay. Right.
Okay. No. So 3 people. That means stop, Bill Wiggins. My gosh. But anyway, so it's like 3. There's 3. Whatever it is, like 3 people, and like you land on this planet, and then you have to kind of figure out how you're gonna survive. Whether it's you go mining. You create your where you're gonna like have your base. How are you gonna farm? And the end goal is that you eventually are able to recreate a space, like a rocket or a spaceship, so you can get home. But it's different each time you play it. There's different things you have to deal with. There's different types of planets that you land on. There's like space pirates that come and raid you. There's natural predators that are on the planet. You're able to like you can capture like space pirates to come to like, and then like you can imprison them and then convince them to join you so you can have more people. And each game plays out differently. And also the big thing is that like the user interface is way simplified down, and it just got out of like the whatever that is in Steam, the like before the
early access.
Just got out of early access. What?
I thought we were talking about Essen games.
Well, I know, and I just wanted to say because I wanted to say this game's amazing, and it just got out of early access, and they've sold like 1 million.
Talk about a bait and switch.
I am already more interested in this computer game than any of the games coming out in Essen.
You might be in the wrong industry, sir.
But anyway, there you go. Plus, I think everybody here is waiting with bated breath for Red Dead Redemption 2 to come out.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Not particularly.
No.
No, but me and Pete are.
Yep.
Hey, Pete, I finished Odyssey in time. I'm on my 2nd playthrough.
Oh, jeez. Crazy.
All right, I've pinged Anthony like 8 times to tell him to get in here to play Initials, but he's not showing up. So we're going to just dive into Initials, and we can talk more about Essen games a little bit.
I'm going to duck out before Initials start.
Oh, no! You're staying.
I can't stay.
Yes, you can.
No,
This
I
is
can't. I
easy.
can't stay on that late.
Yes, you can. This isn't going to take that long.
Right.
All right. Do we have a Kabuki, by the way? Does anybody know?
Yep, she's in here.
All right. So we have our arbiter of reality.
The Kabuki.
What? Kabuki. All right. So here we go. I'll give you the initials tonight. The initials are E.S.
What was the first one?
E.
E
Echo,
is in every
Sierra.
man. Echo.
Yes. E and S. And just for those people who don't know what we're talking about, though there's probably very few who do, this is a game show type thing that I totally and completely stole from K-Fan, which is my local sports radio, and their morning show, the Power Trip morning show, on Fridays. They have a initials contest. They do this every week. I completely and totally stole it from them. So I'll give all credit to them. As always, your name is your buzzer, gentlemen. And if you get the answer wrong, you're out just for that particular thing, not for the thing. And we'll of course keep score. I have 15 of these and one tiebreaker. Anthony is not here, so Anthony rules do not apply at all. So
screw that guy.
All right, is everybody ready?
I can't think of anything that starts with ES.
All right, that's excellent. You're going to do wonderful. All right, here we go. Clue number 1 for item number 1.
No.
What is happening?
What's going on?
Not that I'm trying to find a place for something. No, I'm trying to put something away.
Okay, Keith, do you need me to wait for you here?
No, keep going.
All right.
I can do 2 things at once.
That's not what your wife's doing. All right, here we go. At birth are 4 feet long and weigh 80 pounds. Clue number 2. Adults. Are we okay?
Sorry, my wife just popped her head in to wonder how much longer is this going to be.
That's what she says.
Hi, Jen.
They say hi.
Well, it involves Lance, so the answer is forever.
You know what?
She's actually
That's
going
my
to come
honor,
over
man.
here to prove that she is in here to pull me out, kicking and screaming.
Oh, that's fine.
Well, he doesn't have to. It's right. There's the camera right there. Yeah. All right.
No, you're not even.
Wait. Actually, Jen has a better shot at this than me. Start again.
Okay, can she hear me then?
Here, honey. Think of something that has the initials ES. It could be a person, it could be a place, it could be a thing. And he's going to give a series of clues, and you have to tell everybody else what the ES stands for, okay?
Tell her when she wants to ring in, she has to say her name.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Welcome to the show, Jen. And if you get it wrong, you're just out for that particular thing. But just
Extrasensory.
No, you got to say your name.
Extra soft.
You're supposed to shout out.
Okay.
What isn't Richard? Anyway, here we go. Clue number 1 for item number 1. At birth are 4 feet long and weigh 80 pounds. Clue number 2.
You're supposed to shout out your name. I have no idea what's happening.
Okay.
Adults are up to 20 feet long and weigh 8,800 pounds.
Wow. Adults are up to 8,800 pounds.
Keith.
4 feet.
Enormous squid.
Incorrect. Keith is up. Clue number 3. Enjoy eating skates, rays, squid, octopuses, eels, and small sharks.
Jen.
Is
Encephalitic squids.
Clue number 4. Get their name from a large proboscis on the male of the species.
Richard.
Joe.
Joe.
Elephant shark?
No,
Rotto.
Elephant seal.
Elephant seal is correct. Well done.
Ooh, very good.
Yeah.
Final clue. Very few predators for this marine mammal, with only great white sharks and orcas attacking them.
Yep.
The great white sharks always, right?
Always.
Okay, here we go.
Uh-oh, we're going to again.
No, one more time.
Oh, no, there's 15 of them.
So now you've pulled Jen in.
Yeah, this is
I might leave and she might step in.
Clue number 1.
All right.
Gas X.
Repeat that?
Gas X.
All right.
I don't know what to make of that.
Clue number 2. Alka-Seltzer. Clue number 3. Pepsid AC. Clue number 4. Tylenol.
Jen.
Jen.
They're all drugs for upset tummies.
Well, No,
That is
that's
not
not
me
the
or
Keith.
You've missed all of the letters.
I thought you got something totally
Extra
new.
strength.
It's always Ina.
Extra strength. Extra strength is correct.
Ah.
Nice.
Very good.
Nice.
Final clue. All use this marketing term for more powerful version of their standard medicine.
Mhm.
All right. Here we go.
So it's not necessarily a person or a thing. It could be a concept.
Okay. This is my first time.
It's always yes.
It's fine. It's fine, Jen. You're doing great.
We're actually sharing our earbuds here, by the way.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. Item number 3. Clue number 1 is 55 years old. Clue number 2. A graduate of Harvard.
Joe.
Joe.
Edward Snowden.
Good guess.
I thought that was a good answer.
But Edward Snowden will be coming later now. So
Clue number 3. Avid tennis player playing at least 2 hours every other day.
sports. There's always a stupid
Other game.
Clue number 4. A wide range of skills has had them play prostitutes, comedians, action heroes, spies, and even themselves. Final clue. However, I will never forgive her for leaving Daniel LaRusso, and she better show back up for the second season of
Oh,
Rado.
God, what is wrong with me? Elizabeth Shue.
Elizabeth Shue. That is correct.
My favorite actress.
Yes.
Elizabeth Shue and Sandra Bullock are tied for my favorites from the discussion last week.
Yes. Very good.
Elizabeth Shue, of course.
All right.
Adventures in Babysitting.
Pete, is your microphone on?
I'm not paying attention.
You can see.
Barry, you're good to go?
I'm good to go. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
I think we
Give
might.
me a European question, please.
Here we go. Next item. Clue number 1. Debuted in 1994. Clue number 2. Starred Patrick Stewart, John Cleese, Alfred Molina, and Kate Beckinsale.
Patrick Stewart.
Clue number 3. Multiple award winner. Clue number 4. Has 5 iterations with a 6th on the way. Your final clue. Recently beat out Grand Theft Auto as the #1 video game franchise ever by 2%. Keith.
Oh, Barry.
Elder Scrolls.
Elder Scrolls. Yes, very good.
God.
Yep.
Nobody calls it Elder Scrolls anymore. That's
Well,
only the first one.
Right.
Oh, that's embarrassing. I'm really embarrassed about that.
I am as too.
I thought that was right in your wheelhouse, Richard.
No, I just, the actors threw it off. I played it back
that's the
before they
point.
had actors. I had played it back before they had Linda Carter or whatever.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, yeah. I forgot she's married to the owner of.
Did you say Linda Carter in that list of actors?
No, I didn't.
I don't think so.
Then
I
what's
just-
wrong with you?
Why, just because I took a smattering of possible answers. Jeez, relax.
Mattering actors.
Hmm.
Number 1. Born into an artistic family with a painter father, a violin-playing mother, and 2 sisters. One is a novelist, and the other an opera singer.
Rado.
Go ahead.
Edward Snowden.
Joe.
All right, honey, it's all on you.
Joe.
Ed Sheeran. Worth a guess.
Clue number 2. Good
You're
friend of director Cameron Crowe. Clue number 3. Lost what could have been his breakthrough role because another actor agreed to work part-time. Clue number 4. His first role was Stoner Bud.
I know I should know this.
Final clue. But I personally love him most as Lance the drug dealer in Pulp Fiction. 5.
I just can't think of his last name. His first name
3.
is. I already buzz in, honey. Buzz in.
Gary
One.
Oldman.
It's
No, Gary
Eric
Oldman.
Stoltz.
Yeah.
I'm afraid
Oh,
time had
Iron Man.
expired. Yes. But
Yeah.
Eric Stoltz was the original Marty McFly.
McFly. Mm.
Yes, of course,
And-
of course, of course.
And then they switched over to
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I haven't had my morning coffee. That's what the problem is this morning.
Oh, I'm sure that's what the problem is.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Clue number
All
1.
right, Jen's ready to go. Sorry.
This has been interesting.
Yeah.
Man,
That's one word for it.
Get out while you can.
Clue number 1.
All right, I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.
Oh, see ya, Richard. Bye-bye. Clue number 1.
He may still win with 2.
He's tied with me, so he might.
Clue number 1. 99 years old.
Joe.
Joe.
Ed Sullivan.
Uh,
He was the old guy on my list.
Clue number 2. Had a much longer name to begin with. Clue number 3. Though well known in Canada, Mexico, and Australia, it is best known and headquartered in the United States of America. Clue number 4. Ranked number 1 for 25 straight years. Final clue. This charitable organization helps over 1.3 million. Joe. No, you're out, Joe. Sorry.
I know.
Helps over 1.3 million people every year that have disabilities, and it has absolutely nothing to do with aquatic mammals.
Joe.
You're out,
Joe.
Joe. 5,
Joe.
4,
Let me say it if no one gets it.
3, 2, 1.
Easter
Okay.
seals.
Easter seals is correct. You guys don't know about Easter seals?
French, English. Ooh, hello.
All right, here
Lance
we
is
go.
tied for the lead.
Clue number 1. Appears in Game of Thrones.
Joe.
Joe.
Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran is correct. Well done. I knew you were going to get that one. Yes, he had a bit role as a Lannister soldier in Game of Thrones. Born to artistic parents who are curators of a museum, well known for their charity work dealing with young adult cancer. Dabbles in film and TV, better known for their music. This male singer had over 6.3 billion streams downloaded on Spotify in 2017 to be ranked number 1. 6.3 billion.
Yeah, a lot of that was French. He's very popular here.
He is.
Good for him.
Good for him indeed. All right, here we go. Clue number 1. Frida. Clue number 2. Lady Tremaine.
Joe.
Go ahead, Joe.
Emma Stone.
Eh. Clue number 3. Mother Gothel. Clue number 4. The Queen.
Oh, God.
Final clue. All of these are animated antagonists in different movies that share this distinctive description because they are a parent, but not the biological one to the hero.
What?
I'll say it again. All of these animated antagonists in different movies, these are all animated antagonists in different movies that share this distinctive descriptor as they are the parent of the hero, but not the
Keith.
Go ahead.
Evil stepsister.
Stepmother.
Pete.
Pete.
Evil stepmother.
Evil
Oh.
stepmother. Yes,
There you go.
that's correct.
Gotcha.
Stepsister. What's your problem?
But that's 3 words.
No, stepmother's one word. Sorry.
It's hyphenated.
It's not hyphenated. Okay, here we go. Sometimes was red and black. Originally was blue and orange. Most famous for being white and blue.
It's a effing football sports team.
Considered to be one of the best North-South competitors ever. Final clue. Retired as the all-time leading rusher in yards in the NFL. Pete.
Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt Smith. Yes, that is correct.
There you go, Pete. Way to tie it up.
He was an Arizona Cardinal at the end of his career. He was originally at the Florida Gators, which is blue and orange, and he wore the white and blue of the Dallas Cowboys, and that's what he was most famous for. So there you go.
Isn't it silver and blue?
Yeah, there's white too,
I guess.
Yeah, but there's some silver in the helmet, but they wear a white jersey.
The helmet's mostly silver, and they wear that every game. But whatever.
Yeah,
the colors are silver and blue. Their away jerseys are white and blue.
Oh,
don't you have any questions on darts or snooker or golf or something? It was bloody football and American football as well. Oh.
Clue number one. Antonio Hardy. Clue number two. Nathaniel Thomas Wilson.
Keith.
Go ahead, Keith.
Elder statesman. Sounded good, right?
I like that. Yes, I like it.
It did sound good. Yes.
Yeah. Clue number three. William Michael Griffin. Clue number four. Christopher George Latore Wallace.
Barry.
Egg
smokers.
Your final clue.
This is just gibberish.
People only use three names when they're serial killers, and serial killers isn't yes.
Final clue. All of these are the real names of rappers who identify with this part of the United States.
Joe.
Oh, that's close. But
that was
didn't
really
Pete
close.
Just guess and miss. Oh no, that's Barry.
Let's go to the.
Hey, Joe's behind, and it's Pete's tied for the lead. So give it to Joe.
do we have
it for a reason?
Yeah, we have Kabuki in there for this is her job. So
she's got to rewind. It takes forever.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I want to go to bed.
We'll make you suffer while the rest of us suffer.
I know.
Oh, go to bed. I know you've sewn your webcam onto your belly button, but
come on, go to bed.
You better watch it or you're going to get a show.
Come on, Kabuki, let's go. I need a ruling.
She's
the people in the peanut gallery are really good. They're like
eat peanut.
All right, Pete got picked. Pete, what's the answer?
East Side.
East Side. Yeah, you got it right.
Pete's in the lead, man. We're gonna make Pete. This is Pete's Forest night.
I've already won initials once before.
What?
All right.
Yeah, I did initials once last year.
Were you playing solo?
No, I actually was playing with you and Anthony.
All right, so here we go.
All the questions about sharks.
Yes, that is possible.
They'll all have a different first consonant, but the second one will be S.
Shark.
All right, here we go. It is movable. It holds a great deal of controversy. It has seen several reforms. It is almost 2,000 years old.
Barry.
Education
system.
Final Joe.
Easter Sunday.
Yes, well done.
Nice.
Good job, Joe.
Final clue was Depending upon what you think, millions of people celebrate the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ on this day. All right. So, Joe, does that pull you into? Is that
2.
1 or 2?
I'm
so
2.
yeah,
He's
you're
at 2.
One,
it's 3 to 2
one-
to 2 to 2 to 2 to 2 to nothing.
Okay. So we'll all right, so here we go. Is 35 years old.
Joe.
Joe.
I believe this is Emma Stone.
Number 2.
She's like really close to that age, though.
Born in North Carolina. Number 3. Was recently interviewed by John Oliver. Clue number 4. Depending upon who you talk to, they are called a hero,
Keith.
a whistleblower. Go ahead, Keith.
Edward Snowden.
Edward Snowden is correct. A whistleblower, a dissident, a traitor, and a patriot. And the final clue is an asylum in an undisclosed location in Moscow.
I could have sworn he was older than that.
You'd be incorrect. But
Well, that's got it from Wikipedia, and he probably edited his own Wikipedia page to hide his
well, there you go. Probably.
Yeah, probably. I smell a rat.
Hey, he's back.
Hey, everybody.
He's back, and he's only 1 behind. So
Wait,
Am I still in it?
yeah, you're still in it. It's 3 to 2. It's 3 to 3 to 2 to 2 to 2.
Richard, I mean, at your age, that's
impressive.
That was
I
quick.
mean, your ability to perform and come back must be applauded.
Sexy time on the Alaboom.
Do you have any? Well, this is Alaboom After Dark. Well done, sir. Well done. All right, here we go. Clue number 1. One of Time's most influential people in the world in 2017.
Joe.
Joe.
Is it Ed Sullivan?
In 2017.
Well, I mean,
Clue number.
Rotto.
He's been dead for like 30
Rotto.
years.
yeah, but
I'm
wouldn't
Rotto.
that-
Richard, go ahead.
I'm just going to say, I'm assuming it hasn't come up yet. Edward Snowden.
Actually,
That
it
was the last
one.
question.
So,
Oh!
all right. Clue number
Well,
2.
that puts me at a bit of a disadvantage.
Well, yeah.
Well, you're the one that left.
Yeah, you're the one who went off for sexy time. So just don't blame us. What's more important? Jeez. Anyway, clue number 2. An outspoken supporter of autism awareness.
Oh, shoot.
Clue number 3.
Okay, go on.
Has been given dozens of awards for their work.
Keith. Emma Stone.
Emma Stone is correct. That is correct.
I stole Joe's answer.
And then clue number 4, and is still only 29 years old. Just think about that. She is 29 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
I thought she'd be older than that.
I thought she would have been 35.
Yeah. The final clue is I look forward to seeing her in the sequel to Zombieland, which comes out next year.
Yeah.
But most people know her for La La Land. Zombieland was such a good movie. Great movie.
I like her as an actress. I enjoy watching her films.
Oh, I like her as an actress.
Full stop.
Yeah. And pause. All right. I think we only have 1 left, right?
Oh,
I don't
God.
know. Let me walk
No, we
over
have
here
2
and
left.
count.
Wait a minute. 2?
Oh, wait.
2. We have 2 left.
Oh,
Sorry.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 done.
Yeah, we have 2 left. Here we go. Clue number 1. Began being used in 1994.
94.
3. Developed first at Berkeley Labs. Clue number 3. A U.S. governmental institution.
I'm out.
I think the rest of us are.
I am
too.
also European, so I.
Clue number 4. Most electrical equipment have stickers with this information and logo.
Barry.
Barry.
European standards.
Final clue. This is a program that was designed to help people make efficient and educated decisions when it comes to the amount of electrical power that they use in their homes
Rado?
and workplace. Yes. Rado.
Energy Saver.
Energy Saver is correct. That little sticker that you see on like your thing.
Yep.
Tells you how much it'll cost to run it for a year. That's what
There's no sticker on my thing.
All right. So what do we got for a score?
It's me 4, Pete and Richard 3, everybody but Barry 2.
Yeah.
Right,
I've got a sticker on my thing. It says erectile and sperm.
So that would be just Joe at 2 then.
Yeah.
Well, Joe and Lance. Lance has 2 as well.
Yeah. So I could possibly tie for the if nobody gets this.
No,
but,
I've got 4. So
well, no, but
you
tie.
can't tie.
Oh no. Okay, yeah. So Pete and Richard can tie. If anybody else gets it, Keith wins.
Pete and Richard, if either one of you get this, we have to do another question. Just pointing this out.
Yeah, but if we don't tie you, then you have to do initials next week.
Yeah. Here we go. The name of a horrible movie that was a straight. Go ahead.
Oh, straight shit! It's not Edward Scissorhands then.
No.
And that's not.
I was saving
movie.
that one.
What is wrong with you?
Lance. I didn't say it's horrible, but this is Lance we're talking about.
Sure.
So
Fair
it's
enough,
his opinions.
Yeah.
The name of a horrible movie that went straight to DVD, starring the younger brother of Thor.
Obscure much?
Movies are Joe's
2
thing.
is a well-known nickname.
Barry. Ebenezer Scrooge.
Incorrect, but I like the guess.
I like where he was.
Yeah, I like the guess. Clue number 3 was once the tallest of them all.
God damn.
Number 4. Though possibly, and I hate saying this word because I think I always incorrectly say it, apocryphal. Though possibly apocryphal.
You got it.
The name has its origin from George Washington. Final clue. It is another name for the state of New York.
No. Rado.
5. Richard?
It's Empire State?
Empire State, that's correct.
Oh, whoops, I wasn't supposed to say anything, right.
No, now it's a tie. We got to do another one.
I'm sorry.
All right, here we go.
I forgot.
All right.
Good job, guys.
He kept his yap shut. He knew it.
I kept it shut. I'm from New York, and I kept my mouth shut on that one.
At what point
Did you know the answer? You just didn't want to say anything?
No, I didn't get it until after Rado buzzed in, but I got it like it was within a second of him getting it. I just wasn't going to buzz in.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Wherever he is, I feel Anthony's just glower stare at us for being sucking so bad.
Well, he'll wait until he fell asleep on the couch most likely. So what he's gonna do is he'll
listen later and yell at us for
being dumb. So,
yep, pretty much.
All right, so here we go. Final clue. This is just for Richard and just for Keith, so nobody else can say anything.
Should I get up and walk around as well?
I don't care.
Only if you're bored.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a coffee.
Thanks a lot, guys. You really make
No, it's not that. I'm just tired and.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
It keeps me from falling asleep.
Died in 2003.
Oh shoot! I was gonna get walk around with that.
Oh, I actually know this. Some bitch.
Changed their name to this, but at birth it was Charles Thatcher.
God, I know this one. It's killing me.
Number 3. It is not a one-hit wonder as many would believe, having sold millions of R&B albums.
Music.
However, their biggest hit did come in 1970 with a protest song protesting the Vietnam War that sold over 3 million records. And I apologize to everyone listening. Clue number 5. War! Huh! What is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
Say it again. I'm well aware of that song. Who sings it?
Who sings it? And right now, Anthony, if he's listening, is screaming.
I know everybody is.
5,
Pete is.
4, 3, 2, 1. And
Who?
Pete?
Nope, I was wrong.
Okay.
Pete was going to say Ed Sullivan.
No.
Edwin Starr was his name.
Really? Wow,
Edwin
don't think I've ever heard that name.
Never heard the name.
Never heard the name. Well, wow,
Hey.
for the first time ever, we have a tie.
Let's go to a sports question. Or the pure music question. Here's what we shouldn't have: a board game related question.
Do I have any board games on my shelf that start with ES?
I've had board game questions before, but it is tough to come up with them.
No, it's not. I do one every time I do initials.
No, well, I don't know. ES. I mean, God, let me think. Is there any games that? No, Primordial Soup doesn't work. Obviously. Yeah, I don't know.
Edwin
First time ever we have a tie. That's crazy.
Never heard of it. Well, yeah,
Hold
because
on.
Anthony's not here.
Hold on, I'm coming up with a tiebreaker to settle this.
Oh, all right, go for it, Pete.
Hold on, I'm looking.
The initials are
Edward
LM.
In the meanwhile, I'll look
LM
for an
is
ES game.
stupid, and I don't like him.
Yes.
Comes up with a stupid game that I don't do well at.
Elder Sign.
Hey, there you
Ooh,
go. Good job, Richard. Richard wins for coming up with the board game ES first.
Yeah, Elder
Sure,
Sign.
just walk back. Yeah, it's right there. Right there on my shop. I couldn't come up with it.
If you'd just done one more lap.
I know, one more lap and I would have seen that. It's a really small box. It's kind of next to Imperial Assault. It's in the Star Wars.
I remember when they said like they were discontinuing Elder Sign, so I like immediately went out and I snagged all the expansions that I didn't have.
And then they made 3,000 more expansions.
Yeah, I was like, thanks a lot. You know, they're like, oh well, we think we're gonna retire this game. Oh well, let's go. Oh no, wait. I got you to buy it.
I quit buying expansions when they wouldn't fit in the box anymore.
That was like, I like that game, but man, it is like, I don't know. It's like that. It's like that co-op that's just too easy to win. I don't know. I think my winning percentage on Elder Sign is like 80%.
Yeah, the base game definitely. There was not the first expansion, but the second one that took it out of the museum and put it in town. They did a lot of good stuff there that really kind of made it a lot more aggressive.
Yeah,
and engaging. Yeah,
All
the
right,
original I was not crazy.
I'll have one in just a minute. I'm just getting a couple clues.
All right. Oh, I thought I won with the Rado rule.
No, the Rado rule. You're even making up rules for it now.
You should play Elder Sign by reading the rules dyslexically. The game is hard. The amount of times word blindness is not fun. Seriously. I can't beat this game.
I was gonna say something here, and I just because I feel kind of bad, and this is not me looking for any kind of attaboys or anything like that, so don't take it as such, because this has got nothing to do with me at all. But I mentioned my niece who is battling cancer a while back, and I haven't given any updates. Mostly I haven't given any updates because she's just been undergoing treatment, and it's just been a process that she's been going through, and so she had her round of radiation, and then and then now she and opening chemotherapy, and they had to wait a certain amount of time before she had an MRI, which was a very, very stressful time for everybody in the family because everybody was worried. Obviously, she had her MRI, and her brain tumor has not increased in size, which is absolutely like the best possible news we could have gotten in that situation. He is dealing with an incurable form of cancer, and this is one of those things where they're treating it aggressively. So, as new techniques and treatments become available, we're just trying to make sure that she is around for when those do become available. So so there you go. That's my update on my niece, and she got the best. Yeah, she got the best possible news she could possibly get. So
That's
awesome.
fantastic. Yeah.
That's good.
All right,
good news.
I am ready.
The opposite of a airing of grievances. That would be an airing of miracles. Congratulations.
Okay, Keith and Rado, are you ready?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, same initials, E.S. All right, number 1, graduated from Syracuse University.
Keith.
Yes.
Ed Sullivan.
No. All right, Rado, as long as you don't screw this up.
You got the whole thing.
Okay. Clue number 2.
All right.
Studied both TV, radio, film, and theater.
Wow, I would have gone with Ed Sullivan at that point.
Clue number 3. Has narrated over 100 audiobooks, including Arthur C. Clarke's Childhood's End, Kurt Vonnegut's God Bless You, Miss Rosewater, and novels set in Forgotten Realms. Clue number 4. Interactive media credits include The Mytrian Wars, King of Fighters 2006, and Metal Slug 3D. Clue number 5. Amongst his many other favorite games, Pandemic rules them all.
Does anybody have an idea?
Yeah,
I will give you a
got
clue
it
number
now.
6.
All right.
Hey, Rado, Dice Tower. There's clue number 6.
Oh, geez, of course, Rado. God.
Uh-huh.
I actually thought about it for a second, but I dismissed it out of hand that it's...
That it's what?
Yeah. Why the heck are you giving me some obscure guy who does audiobooks? And for one brief second, it flitted across my brain. Wait, I do know a guy who does audiobooks. And then just in one ear, out the other. But yes, Eric Summerer.
There you
You
go.
should have
Rado
totally
wins.
used his credits, the romance novels that he does.
I was
because
going
that's
to, but I
hilarious.
thought the video game ones would really start to confuse him because a lot of people don't realize he did a lot of voice work in video games before he did the audiobooks. So there you go. Eric Summerer.
Yeah, I
way to
totally would've
inject
blown up on
board
confusion.
gaming into initials.
Well done,
Lance.
sir.
But you
I thought you were
going
going
to
to open with
listen to.
published by Fantasy Flight Games in. Wow. All right. So I'm 2 for 2 then, I guess.
There you go. Way to go, Richard.
Although in both times I only won because I got help from my erstwhile competitors.
But Richard, you actually were gone for half of the game and still won. So.
There was
Yeah.
that too, I suppose.
that is true.
So it's well earned, sir.
All right.
All right. Well, I'm going to head to bed, so I'm not coming up with a lot of things I'm excited for Essen. You mentioned I'm interested in the Pfister game because it's a Pfister game.
Yeah.
And I want my Feast for Odin expansion. And then after that, I'm just not sure. But that's what BGG Con's for. Since I don't go to Essen. That's when Aldi will come back and say, these are what you need to play, and then I'll go play them. So, who is going to BGG Con this year besides me and Lance?
Yo, I'm sleeping on your couch, aren't I?
Yeah, you're sleeping somewhere in there, I guess. Wherever
You
we're
live in
throwing you.
Texas, Keith?
No, I'm in Indiana, but I'm going to BGG Con. So.
Oh, he's staying on your hotel couch then?
Not yet. My hotel. That's why he's crashing in my room. That's why.
Oh,
No, the TMG faithful. We've got only one room, and it's going to be packed full. So.
oh wow.
So I'm crashing on the Keithster's place, which I've done before, and it was nice. So.
Yep, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah. Is Fish going or no?
Fish has never gone, and he never will. He wouldn't even show up for board game night tonight, so we didn't have that. Eric is going with me, and Dave was going to go but isn't going, so it's just me, you, and Eric.
Oh, well, can we go to just one king bed? Can you ask him to do it? We can just all sleep
What, so we can get all the snuggles?
Yeah, we can just stay warm all night long and enjoy some just friends spooning.
Yeah, well,
that is
I'm
a
sure I'll be
lie.
asleep before
It
you
is
roll
never
in.
just friends.
That's when I'll start to get hyped up on gaming again. As BGG Con creeps back up, then I'll start to get energized
It
again.
really is like right around the corner. It's just
I know.
It's
I mean,
weird.
it's a month and change away. I mean, well, it's basically a month away.
And I've said this 1,000 times, but the best thing about BGG Con, and I mean, and there's so many things.
Tepid lemonade.
What? No, well, there's tons of things I say that are great about
the Glasscock
BGG
room.
Well, yes, you see, like the Glasscock room, the tepid lemonade. Just seeing
battling tops,
whiskey night. I mean, like, just there's so many things about it that are awesome, and just fun. It's like, but like the one thing I love more than anything, it's a direct flight for me. I get on a plane in Fargo, and it lands in Dallas. And then I get in plane in Dallas, and it lands in Fargo. I don't have to do any connections whatsoever. It literally is just turn out the lights, and I fall asleep. And then I wake up, and I'm in Texas. I look for it's such a sweet feeling. And then you just get off the plane, grab your stuff, call the number, they come over, pick you up, and take you to the hotel.
Why do you even call the number? Just walk. Oh my God, it's like 2 minutes to walk.
Yeah, well, that's a free ride, and I'm going to do it. So there you go. There you go.
Well, I guess it depends.
Plus, the one time I tried to walk it, I couldn't figure out how to get there, and I felt stupid.
Well, that's what Google's for.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it was like send me like over like a wall or something like that. I couldn't figure it out. So. I played Dice Settlers. I said this before. I played Dice Settlers a little while ago, and I really liked that game.
It's great.
So, NSCN's got 2 awesome games releasing at Essen.
Agreed.
I played this a while ago.
What? I'm not looking at
SPQF. Grant Rodick. It's a little game that he had on Kickstarter. It's a neat little lead and follow game. So I kind of dug it.
Yeah, this was good.
Yeah, it was.
I don't even know what it is.
I totally
It's just a little unique little deck builder. I had fun playing it. Worth
I'm out.
keeping in the collection.
No, it's not that kind of deck builder.
Can you believe it? The blue screen of death.
Yeah, you said deck builder, so I'm out.
But you're only really gathering one card at a time, and you get to take cards from other people's cards they didn't play, and that's a unique mechanism in it right there. It's if you don't play this card out of your hand, then you got to lay it out there, and somebody can take it from you, which is super cool.
He says I'm out, but if I wanted, I could catalog all the times he said, well, normally I don't like deck builders, but this one.
But this one, yeah.
Yeah, normally I don't. It's got to have something that I like about it.
Well, if the only time you ever talk about deck builders is how this is the one I like, then it kind of starts looking like you kind of like deck builders.
No, but I don't really like them. That's the thing.
You might be a deck builder fan.
I don't think
Richard, did you play this? New game just went up on Kickstarter yesterday.
Weren't you going to bed?
I am, but I want to know if Richard's played this game yet, and I'm trying to remember the Title Blades.
No, I have not.
You didn't try that?
James contacted me about it. It looks good. It looks pretty. It looks gorgeous.
Looks
but
gorgeous.
yeah, not our cup of tea.
Okay.
So I said no.
Because it looked like it might be fun, so you were like, I just can't.
Because I couldn't be bothered to get up from the kids' table.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a real gamer.
Looks interesting. So.
And you know what? It's got squishy fruit in it, so I'm all in.
All right. It looks gorgeous. I mean, and James is a great guy, and it's very fun to watch his behind-the-scenes videos. So that's all I can say about it.
I'll watch John's video then, so that'll work to tell me.
Who did? Perkus?
John Gets Game did a video, so I'll watch his.
Oh, well, there you go, yeah.
Because he does playthroughs too. His are more edited than yours, but they're not as. I like yours because of the inner dialogue.
Yeah.
Loud.
Can I get you a room there, Keith?
No, I'll tell you what. See all this mess? half of this mess is because of Richard.
I do
Because
apologize.
he I don't like reviews. I like seeing games played, so I can sit there and just see how it works, and I'll know if I like it.
Oh, jeez.
I don't listen to his opinion about it, but I'll watch him play.
And you're wise not to, because I'm just a slub with a camera. But no, that's
just like all the other ones. So,
Yeah, do you guys need a moment? Or?
yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
maybe we
I
do.
cannot help you there, Keith. All I can say is it looked nice, and I apologize to James that I couldn't cover it. It just was not our cup of tea.
cool.
Speaking
All right.
of games that backed yesterday, I backed Cloudspire. Did anyone else back that?
No, I looked
I
at it
was
though.
thinking about it. I like chip theory stuff, but as soon as I saw the phrase tower defense, I'm like, I'm out.
And a 250 all in for me is just too much after this year. It's got to really wow me to make me jump in that high, and I think that was the all in for that one.
Colton
That-
Himmel, 250.
That the
Oh.
tower defense thing actually made me interested in it. I backed for not the all in, because the only thing I saw that it added was like a big box of like plastic pieces to replace cardboard pieces, and I was like, well, I don't care about that.
So Pete, what you're saying is 250, half of a normal CMON pledge, and you're out.
Yeah,
Oh.
pretty much.
And with that, good night, my friends. I'll see you next week.
All right.
Good night, asshole.
See ya.
Talk to you later, runner up.
Oh.
I'm 2-0. I'm on top of the world.
I'm on top of the world, Ma.
Yep.
What here? This is. I'm gonna throw out a take question, and you guys can answer it. Why is it that it seems like, and I'm not trying to be mean here, because I definitely because I work behind the curtain now, so I understand like unscheduled things happen and like things occur during board game production. So I try to be understanding, but like I was talking to. I think I was talking to Pete about this, but I was also talking. I think I mentioned it to Anthony when I was talking to him about it. Like, I very rarely read my Kickstarter update emails. I mean, I probably should read them more often, but it's just like I can't. I get enough of them that I just can't really be bothered. But sometimes I like say to myself, I never got that. Did I ever get that? And then I go back and I start reading all the updates for something, and it'll be. It just seems like the ones that are like overdue. Like the updates are always about their most recent calamity that's happened in their life, whether it's their car being broken into or their, some sort of undiagnosed illness that needs treatment and just all this stuff. And it seems like they're all, and it's just, I don't know. I just wish maybe they are having like the worst like luck ever. For like ever since they funded and people are waiting for their item, but I don't know. It's like I for once I just like people to say, look, I'm totally over my head on this. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to figure it out. Hopefully you'll get your game, but nobody will ever say that. Well, no. So like there was this one, and I'm not going to mention the campaign by name because even though people are going to like scour and figure out which one it is,
Does it begin with ENS?
Yes. So there was like, okay, so I want you, this was the approach they took. So there was a thing where, and I backed it. I backed it for the thing that they had. And it was due like at the beginning of summer. And they like basically said, well, we're obviously running behind. There's even people that like pledged extra to be given express shipping, and like they promised these people they'd have them by a certain amount of like, because they just, it was like, you will have these, we guarantee it by X, and they just haven't, and they haven't gotten them. Some people have gotten them, but not everybody. They're like hand making the items and stuff like that. Then at some point they just stopped production because they wanted to like see if there was like a more expedited. There's just stupid excuses. One way they went after the other. But in the meantime, they've like launched other Kickstarters, and they've just, and it looks like it's just taking forever for them to get their stuff. and people are like, this is they're like, where's our stuff, basically, and they're just like, we're not going, and they just basically said, we will respond to comments and questions about anything except for when do I get my stuff. They said we just won't respond to those because we're doing an update every month. The updates don't ever really say anything about when to expect things other than just like it's going to be longer. We're still trying to work this out. We're still trying to do that. You're still going to have to wait. Like basically, it's just they're not really communicating why there's a delay. Like in one thing, like the guy was posting pictures of being at a gaming convention, and they're like, so you had time to pay for and go to a gaming convention, but you couldn't like produce my stuff, and then he said, oh, I wasn't at the gaming convention, and people are like, you're a liar. Here's your Instagram photos. So it's just like, and then finally, like, so they posted one thing where they said, they came out and they just said, here, we decided to do this, implement this this decision that we're still not going to answer any questions about the timeline. If you have anything else, we'll answer those. We're still not going to answer anything else, about this anything. But if you are rude or mean to us, we will immediately cancel your pledge and we will give you a refund. And so, like, a fair number of people were like, perfect, great, give me back my money, I'm out. They were just like, it's like you don't know what you're doing. And then after like a large number of these people said that, they basically said, we're not offering refunds at this time. We're just only offering refunds to people that are rude to us. And so then the people just said, fine, you're stupid. You don't know what you're doing. Give me back my money. And then they said something like, oh, we're gonna report you to like Kickstarter for being
like they'll do anything.
Well, I was like, what a giant crap show this has become.
Well, I would suggest to your original observation you were making about that of how is it these people can keep finding themselves in all kinds of monumental screw-ups that leads to their games going bad. I think you just saw evidence of it. It's generally, more often than not, going to be due to, incompetence as opposed to, evil machinations. And they showed whatever this game was that, that was a ridiculous mistake. And if they could make such a boneheaded, simple mistake there, they're probably making mistakes all over the place in life that's leading to all kinds of catastrophic screw-ups with being able to deliver on time, I would assume.
Yeah, and I suppose the more and more stuff that gets, and then the big the thing that drove people crazy was like, they said, it's like, we've decided that this now will be our full-time job. It was like this husband and wife team or whatever. And this is what we're going to do. So we need to take 3 months off of production to start looking for a studio. And people are just like, no, you don't get to just go look for a studio. You need to make our stuff. Yeah, it was.
Again,
it was
that
fun
would be
reading.
further evidence of their inability to make good decisions. And people who make bad decisions often find themselves in bad situations.
Yeah. So
that is ridiculous, though. You have to type what project that is in the secret chat that only we have access to. I'm now morbidly curious.
Yeah.
I'll share it. But
right.
yeah, so it was. Yeah, I can only. I just.
Sorry, public chat.
Yeah. Well,
I'll see you later.
People can. I'm sure people with their imminent ability to snoogle things can.
It's probably not that hard to find, I would imagine.
No, like the last time I was like, I'm not going to mention any names. They pinpointed it in the chat. Like 5 minutes later? Oh, it's this.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to say that, but no. Yeah, I know. I like I said, because I get to go behind the wall and see things out there, and I see how people go about, the decisions they make and how those things can come back to haunt you and whatever. I get it. I understand that it's frustrating, but man, oh man, I just when you see people. When the car wreck and when you see them turning into the skid, just like you're just like, oh no, stop, don't say anything. But they don't.
Yeah.
But, no, it wasn't. What? How? I mean, I don't want to use the word entitled, but Richard, when you were in the video game industry, I mean, obviously, I'm sure the fans were exponentially more difficult to deal with.
There's a lot more of a firewall between your average developer and the fan base in the video game. At least when you're like me, working on big AAA multi-million-dollar games. I mean, I mean, there's chances are the publisher has a PR department, and you don't actually get to talk to the fans except at conventions. And if you ever talk to anybody at convention, doesn't matter how much bile and hate they throw your way online. As soon as you see them in real life, they're like, "Oh, I love your games! I'm really excited for it." That's true for any industry. So I guess I did see some of that on the last game I worked on, Brink, because there was this online shooter fan forum that pretty much made it their mission in life to hate on the developer I worked for. Because once a million years ago, they made a game they liked, and ever since then, they've hated every game. So the reason they were all together was to just hate Splash Damage. And
Hate.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and just what are those guys doing this week? And I got permission from Bethesda's PR department and said, hey, you know what? I want to go interface with these people because I was young and naive and stupid. And I spent, but to be fair, I actually spent quite a bit of time with them and kind of worked them over. I got them to where they were kind of policing themselves, or when somebody new would come in and say, oh, what's this asshole doing here? It's like, no. He's a cool one. He's actually talking to us. He's treating us like, he cares what we think. And to be fair, I did because, they were potential customers. At the end of the day, once Bethesda started screwing us over and I wasn't allowed to talk to them anymore, you could go there and like overnight they said, Rado, he's a sellout. He won't talk to us. Like, I want to keep talking to you. I want to explain everything, but I'm not allowed to. Bethesda will sue us if I actually speak in public about how, they destroyed our game and our launch. And I'm so sorry. We had every intention of doing every single thing I said, but, my dealings were less with the fan base and more with our publishers, who, to be fair, gave us millions of dollars to produce a game. But yeah, so no, I don't know. Maybe I guess for smaller indie modern video game development, you have that kind of thing going on. But I think the board game industry is a very different beast. Video Game Geek doesn't have game designers interfacing with just average fans. So I think it's a reflection of our very, very tiny niche industry where kind of everybody knows everybody kind of thing.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
I remember I haven't talked. I mean, Scott's not here obviously right now. But I remember talking to him about what like when VGGCon was smaller than it was, and like they would the badges had like big pictures of your avatar that you had from the convention or whatever, and so that people would recognize each other by their avatar, and so it was like a very big like family kind of atmosphere kind of thing. Of course, now it's a little bit too big for that, but
probably.
Yeah, probably.
Is Scott coming on tonight, by the way?
Well, he's got the invite. Whether he shows up or not, I have no idea.
I need to ask him about Lucky's Adventure or Lucky's Misadventures.
Well, it's a fun game.
You don't get to say that because it's a deck builder. Oh. And last I heard, you don't like deck builders. So
I liked the theme of that one very much. It had a very, very fun theme. Plus the design. I mean, full disclosure, the designer is a Minnesota native and a good friend of mine as well. But I mean, but I really like the theme of that one.
Deck builders are awesome. So there's that too, because deck builders are engine builders, and engine builders are cool. I'm curious because I know Scott has some going on about how much he loved it on Facebook, and I think he mentioned it on the last Board Game Geek show that they do, him and Eric and Rodney and all of them. And I've got a copy, and I was really excited about it because I love the idea of a deck builder where everybody simultaneously reveals. I think that's very, very cool. But when I opened the box and I saw, just nasty attack, theft, steal, destroy card after card after card. And I know you don't care. I know you dig it. That's probably one of the reasons you enjoy it, because it's, quote, interactive, end quote. But Aldi, having more Care Bear leanings like me, I'm interested in his opinion, because he's just, he thinks it's the bee's knees, it seems. So I was hoping I'd catch him. But he is MIA, nowhere to be seen. Sorry, that's neither here nor there.
Well, you could just play games with a little bit more teeth to them, and it probably wouldn't hurt you.
I could do that, but since I already have more than enough games that don't have teeth, which I know I'm going to enjoy more, I think I'll just try to get through as many of them as possible. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Why do you hate attacking things in games? Why do you hate
I have a hard time. I'm a very empathetic person, and I know if I were playing a game with you and we were playing Blood Rage or whatever, you'd say, "Come at me, bro! I want you to hit me. It's part of the fun." But I still just cannot derive enjoyment from it. Now, I mean, it's of course exacerbated by the fact that I play 99.9% of the games with my wife. And I know if I kick her sandcastle down, to use your term, because I know I've heard you say it more than anybody else, the whole, kick each other's sandcastles down. I love it. That's a perfect metaphor. It hurts her. And she's a big girl. She's fine with it, but I can't have fun destroying something that she has made and takes pride in and feels good about. How could I possibly enjoy that? It makes no sense to me. It's such an alien concept. And while if I were playing with you, I'd be a little bit more amenable to it, I still won't be having fun. I have more fun building my own thing rather than destroying your thing. I don't get it.
But you're not playing the other person then. You're both just playing the same game at the same time. There's no real, I don't know. I just don't.
That's like saying that marathon runners aren't, are marathon runners not engaged in a competition? Is it not a sport? Is it not a game to see who can cross the finish line first?
I don't know about the time.
Or hurdlers or any of those.
I never said
or figure skaters. The figure skaters, they might.
How awesome would it be if in figure skating the other ones could come out onto the ice and knock you down as you try to do your routine? I would watch figure
that would make it more enjoyable to watch for sure.
Oh my gosh, as they're trying to skate away from you and doing triple axles, and you're you got a guy in a hockey jersey trying to knock him over. Oh, they got him against the boards.
That is a reflection of me then, because the thought of that is horrifying to me.
A total Tanya Harding.
Because I immediately think of how they've spent their entire lives, training for that moment so they can pull off that awesome triple axle, and for some asshole to swipe them, to come along and snipe them, it just feels terrible. Because that's just where my brain immediately goes. It just does. It goes to that. And even in a case like you, where you don't care, you want it to happen. You built that sandcastle hoping that I would come and try and smash it, and you'll gleefully watch it burn if I do tear it down. I still won't have fun tearing it down. I just can't. I'm weird.
But to your analogy with the marathon runners, though,
yes,
it's yes, they're competing, but they're not. None of them. I mean, there might be something to the idea that maybe there's wind drag or something like that if somebody's in front of you, but I don't really buy into that as much. I mean, it's just it's whoever trained the best for that moment, and you both happen to be,
right. But marathon runners is a bad example. What the Olympics, where they're right there, they're neck and neck, they're directly next to each other. They can hear each other. They're all just trying to cross the finish line at the same time. Or jockeys in horse races or something like that. Are you saying that a jockey in a horse race is there, neck and neck, coming down to the photo finish? They're not aware of each other. They're not engaged and involved. Yes, of course, they're focusing on their thing because they're trying to win. That's the competitive element. But it's not like they're in their own little silo, unaware of the world around them. They are incredibly aware of and engaged with their competitors. That's what happens with me and Jen when we're playing Agricola with no desire to punch each other in the face, but just trying to get across the finish line and score those extra 5 points we need to win. We are sitting at the table. we are engaged in the same activity with a specific set of goals trying to achieve. And, we don't really, if something goes terrible for Jen, I don't say, oh, yes, this is my chance to pull ahead. I'm like, oh, no, that's so horrible. I will put aside my game and my strategy to try and help you figure out how you've gotten into this bad situation and you're not going to be able to feed your people this round. What can we do to fix that? That's where I come from. That's just the way I am.
Yeah, I think those sandcastle types of games don't really work with 2 players because it is just like it's like the old 2 punching robots.
That is a big point as well. Yeah. As soon as it becomes a zero-sum nature, every point you lose is effectively a point I gain, and every move I make has to be on some level trying to deny you. You can't do that kind of strategy when you have 3 or more players, because if I spend all my time trying to deny you, then we'll both lose and Forrest will win. But yeah, a 2-player game.
Forrest won't win. He's too high.
Yeah, he doesn't even know where he is.
He doesn't even know where he is. He actually thinks he's on the Dice Tower show tonight.
Hey, Tom. Good. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Hey, your bum fluff's coming along nicely. Yeah. You look 22 today.
The goal is that by the time No Shave November rolls around, I'll actually look like a grown man.
So you have to put this much work in ahead of time.
This is 2 weeks. This is 2
Oh my
weeks.
God.
Yeah.
Forrest,
I know you might feel
Forrest,
bad
you
about
see
it, but
this? You see this? I clean shaved 2 days ago, and I'm already almost caught up to you.
Did you see his head twitch? He went 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah. Forrest, be happy because that means you are never going bald.
Yep.
That'd be great. Yeah, it's not too prevalent in my family.
Yeah. I would happily give up this manly mane to try and hold on to my skull cap back here, but it is not in the cards for me.
You're a silver fox.
You're not that vain, are you?
About my hair, yes, I am. Oh, it's ironic because I never actually do anything with my hair. If you watch in half my videos, it's sticking out all over the place, cowlick style. But my brother, he went totally Picard by the time he was 30, and I've been Rogaining it up ever since my early 20s. If you're lucky, and yeah, it has worked for me. I should be totally cue ball at this point.
I'd love to be cue ball. Wouldn't have to.
I actually have. I don't know. You guys can tell. Do I have a bald spot right up here?
Yeah, you got that bald spot because you do too much weed.
Yeah, no, it's stress-induced baldness. I've got it twice throughout my life, so I'll just lose like a nickel-sized thing of hair, and then it'll grow back in like a year.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
this has been.
It's only happened
on?
twice. It happened recently when I jacked up my elbow and I was worried it was majorly hurt. And then it happened once when I first moved into my house and my house got broken into and I got a new dog and I had a baby all within a 1 week span.
Sorry about knocking up your wife and breaking into your house.
Damn it! Why didn't I piece together the puzzle sooner?
It was there in front of you the whole time, every week. He's been laughing at you.
Just the fact of how dissatisfied your wife was should have clued you in a little bit.
No, man, I just don't understand that. I mean, it's like, I guess if that's how you enjoy the game, then that's how you should enjoy the game, right? I don't know. I mean, my gaming group is so cutthroat. I mean, like, there's been times when people have been, I mean, this is an actual argument that we got into. You made me think of it. Like, somebody was, like, trying to figure out how to do their turn. Like, they were like, oh, I really want to do this, but I can't figure out how to do it. And they were just sitting there trying to figure, okay, now I do this. That'll give me, like, I'm just throwing out things. That'll give me 3 wheat. And then I can change 1 wheat into this silk. But then that won't get me enough coins to be able to get here. And I'll have to use another wheat, and I won't be able to feed. So I can't. And somebody goes, hey, actually, you know what? If you use this spot over here, and somebody says, shut your fucking mouth.
Wow. I would not last long in your group.
I'm very fortunate because my group is about 7 or 8 people who that come routinely, and it's about half and half. So like half of them are just absolute cutthroat, and the other half is like, oh, I screwed up something 2 turns ago and I didn't collect it. Can I collect it now and then change what I did last turn? And they're like, all right.
Forward. This is the comment we make every single time. Anybody always says, I didn't actually, I could have actually turned this into 3 coins last turn. Can I do that now? Always moving forward comes the voice of Craig on the other side of the table.
He's the OMF guy. All right.
Yeah, he's just that, and like he's like one coach per team, is the thing where you try to help somebody else out.
God.
That's not true though. There's numerous coaches on it.
But that's the mentality. It's like you can't figure it out because inevitably, and then if it happened if somebody actually suggests something to for Craig to do, and they end up taking the spot that he wanted. I mean, he grouses about it the rest of the game.
Oh,
He's just you fucking costed me 14 points that turn. I would have just the rest of the game, just livid.
Yeah. My favorite is one guy in my group who does that. He'd be like, "Oh, I totally should have grabbed this next turn. Is it okay if I grab this?" And then he won't let other people do it. He's totally hypocritical about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was he's. I love Craig to death. I mean, but he is very competitive when it comes to anything that he does, and it's just he's the reason why I don't play in this Gloomhaven group anymore, just because it's just he is just they were like let's play through Gloomhaven. I was like, yeah, it's cool. And we were meeting once every week to 10 days and playing Gloomhaven, and I just left because Craig was about as much fun to play with as just the person just seething at the end of the table because he felt like you weren't letting him shine, or he couldn't do his cool things. And
those people are fun to beat, though. I've got one of those in my game, and I love when I beat them.
Oh, I know. And you have to just totally be good about, hey, good game, bud. Way to go. And they're like, oh, steam's coming out of their ears.
Thank you for reminding me why I only play 2-player. It's good to be reminded every once in a
while. Richard. No, that's I firmly believe play the games you want to play and play them the way you like to play. Don't let anybody else.
Yep, as long as we're having fun. And it's ironic too, considering my background in video games. I made a series of very violent, very in-your-face, destroy your opponent type games. I don't know. Maybe it's the fact, there's something about online versus in person. So, you can depersonify a person, stuff like that. Maybe, I don't know.
Man, you mean you don't teabag somebody after you beat them in a board game?
That is not something that would come naturally to me.
One of my favorite things to do, in Fortnite, is if you have a good gun battle with somebody and you're playing in a thing where they don't die immediately, so they're crawling on the ground, because there's this thing where they have to crawl on the ground and they get to live for another 30 seconds. If one of the teammates show up, they can revive them. But if you catch them by themselves in the middle of nowhere, or you can build a little wall around them, and then so nobody else can see them, and you're just in there, and then you just dance in front of them, hey, how's it going? And they're just crawling, trying to find a way out. And you're it's horrible. I teach my kids horrible. My kids are just laughing. They're like, yeah, look at that guy. Ha! Yeah, no.
Great life lessons there, Lance.
Well, maybe it was.
That wouldn't really be fun. My last souvenir of Gen Con, we just checked out of our hotel. We went to the pharmacy just around the corner to get some drinks to get us through the taxi ride and then to the airport. And we walk out of this pharmacy, and there's this homeless guy on the floor quivering, dribbling, and it's oh my God, do I really want to see this? It's Gen Con, this is my first time at Gen Con, wow, woo! And then I see this homeless guy having a spasm on the floor, and it's oh my God, do I dance in front of him and build a wall? No. But
well,
no,
in fairness, though,
I went back into the store, and I said to the lady, can you phone an ambulance? And the lady actually knew the guy because he always sits out there. So she helped him. Again, it was a pharmacy, so she had some medical training. So, but yeah, that was a horrible thing to experience.
What does that have to do with me being a jerk on Fortnite?
He's saying he's better than you because he didn't dance in front of a homeless seizuring guy.
Well, you don't do that in real life. You just it's a taunt. It's like you just gotta, you gotta add the sting onto the loss. I mean, that's.
And you're making up for the fact that you can't dance either, Lance. Lance,
Well, yeah, that too.
doesn't dance. Yeah.
I tell you what, my favorite feature ever in any video game was Halo 2's proximity chat. Just being able to taunt people when you were nearby them. That was the best. I wish more games had proximity chat where you could get in their base and just talk trash to them, because they, back in the Xbox days, everybody had microphones and you'd just be talking like, I'm in your base, I'm about to capture your flag, you scrubs. What are you doing? Why are you walking around over there, Arch Kid 43? Why don't you come kill me? I used to love doing that so much. That needs to be in more games.
Richard, that was what you love to do in video games too, right?
Oh yes, to be sure.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I'm sorry I let you down, buddy.
No, I mean that's fine. I just yeah, I don't know why. Maybe it's.
I don't know. There's hope for you because you like Teotihuacan, though.
Well, it's
somehow you are able to enjoy that in spite of the fact that at no point do you get to bring a sledgehammer down and destroy the pyramid when somebody else is building it. Somehow
how
you
much
enjoy
better
it when all you're doing is just building adjacent to other people.
There's nothing wrong with the game being a little
Careberry.
I was going to say.
I think he was going the opposite direction there. But I mean, actually, I'm curious. I mean, you clearly understand why I am the way I am, because how else could you enjoy Zolkin?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I have to be careful.
Or Zolkin the Modern Calendar, for that matter. Or, I mean, you like a good Euro. Maybe it has to be an exceptional, over-the-top, amazing Euro to make up for the fact that it doesn't, have any sandcastle kicking.
Well, the one thing about Zolkin, I mean, I like pretty much everything about Zolkin, except for one thing. That if I'm in a position where I could twist the dial and force people off of the dial, it doesn't actually do anything to them. I think that would be amazing if it's like, oh, you were holding out, you were gonna cash in, but I guess I'm gonna turn the dial a little bit too much now, and now you're not gonna get that reward. I'm glad you put all that investment into that and got nothing to show for it. But hey,
oh my God, that would be so terrible.
Wouldn't that though?
I mean, I would say it, but that would be, oy.
That's certainly an insight into your mindset. That as you're playing Zolkin, you're just sitting there thinking the whole time, oh man, if only I could make you waste an hour of your life. That would be fantastic. Fantastic.
Well, when you say it like that, I sound like a jerk.
Oh, really?
You kind of are a jerk.
Don't worry. You're cool, man.
No, I don't know. I mean, we played a game of Lovecraftian Letter at Gen Con like 2 years ago, where the entire table ganged up on me. And like Aldi said, it was like the most fun he had the entire convention. He said because nobody played the sad sack loser like you. And it was like there was a certain point where everybody at the table just almost gave up trying to win. They were just trying to figure out a way of how to like bash me, and they were even like trying to even out the scores so like nobody would win, but just make sure that I got screwed. Like everybody else scored like the bare minimum of points. Like the next point they got would cause them to win. I hadn't scored anything. I had won a single round of it. I was like. Yeah, even my own wife, just like, yeah, let's get him. Just like.
Yeah, Schadenfreude is a bitch. 2018.
To quote, what was it? When the Flanders, when Flanders had the leftorium on The Simpsons, and it's like, Dad, and he's going to the mall just to see Flanders shop, the Leftorium, go out of business. And he's like, Dad, why do you want to go to the mall? He's like, I just want to go watch Flanders' store, fall apart. And it's like, you're experiencing Schadenfreude. He's like, what's that? It's a German word for shameful joy. I don't feel shameful joy. I'm just happy to see him fall square in his butt. He says the Germans have a word for that: sour grapes. They have a word for everything. Schadenfreude. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I think lots of people experience. I'm sure at one point in your life you've let your ethical boundaries slip and experience joy in another person's sadness. This is where you say yes.
It would certainly be easy enough to do it for I don't know, Freud, or what do you call it, Trump voters who are now getting screwed over. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to keep your farm? No, I don't think so. Enjoy your trade war. Trump 2020. I mean, I could, but I don't know. I still mostly think, oh man, I don't think you good. I hope you learned your lesson. I mostly think, oh, it's just an extra layer of tragedy. It's like some kind of slow motion Shakespearean thing that they were their own demise. So no, even it is not my first go-to emotional response to seeing stories like that. I'm just supposed to say, well, good, you deserve it. Like, man, that's just so sad that you were so dumb that you did that, and now you're the one suffering.
I don't think most of them it's really hit them yet. I think a lot of people are still in denial. And I think if it does turn into a blue wave, I think that's when it's really going to hit. When it's like, oh God, Trump caused this. Like if we would have just put some other, typical Republican in a suit, there wouldn't have been this huge backlash. But I mean, if there ends up being a blue wave, it's going to be because people go out and vote because they're pissed off at Trump. But yeah,
I could get out my "I voted" sticker. I've already got mine. Voted in Texas. Yeehaw! Hopefully, this is the year. Go Beto O'Rourke. But actually, I'm sorry. We probably shouldn't go down into politic road, right? You'll lose your last 6 viewers.
Let's take our pants off, talk about politics. Let's do it.
Not sure how one gets the other, but
yeah,
you're not talking about politics right then.
Well,
if you're not naked below the waist eating a bag of Doritos with your eyes high as a freaking kite, you have nothing to talk to Forrest about.
Yeah,
and let's be honest here.
When I run for public office one day, we're gonna have to knock that off. I'm serious. I'm gonna run one of these days.
Good.
Hey,
but seriously, isn't Richard's pants already off though? I mean, so he's having.
Look at this, hairy knee.
And by the way, what are you gonna do once marijuana is legalized everywhere? Like Canada's all on that stuff already today. It became completely legal in Canada for everybody. Well, not everybody.
Who is that addressed to?
Huh? No, everybody was like they make it sound like I smoke like 8 times a day.
Oh, I see.
Oh, sorry, only 6.
What are you gonna do when it's completely legal and it's everybody's doing it instead of drinking?
I would make fun of you like I make fun of my drunk friends. Just like it doesn't mean you're any less of a Cheech. I mean, or a Tommy. Just whatever. Hey, that's your thing, right?
Sure.
Wear that Cheech as a badge of honor, Forrest.
Yeah.
When I was in my 20s and I had my first will written up, I willed anything I had to go to weed legalization stuff.
Oh, here, let me put on my shocked face.
For the record, I have never drunk alcohol. I have never imbibed in any illicit substance. Not that they're illicit, because I know myself and I have absolutely no self-control. And if I ever got a taste for it, I would be doomed. I mean, you remember a year ago when I would get on Alaboom and I would eat an entire pint of ice cream in front of you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, without even blinking. Yeah. So if I got a taste for something that's actually potentially physically addicting, I would be over. So I'm very much looking forward to my deathbed where I get to try everything.
You could be like 85 doing coke.
That's a bit. That's a bit. He's like, I think 75-year-old people should start doing heroin. He's like, because I mean, at that point, shouldn't you? I mean,
house money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, here. I'll just intersperse some of the. So these are stories, ghost stories from Alaboom listeners. I said I was going to read a couple of these that I've gotten already. So if you Alaboom listeners, if you have a real life ghost story, something that you couldn't explain or understand that happened to you, you can send that to me. undeadvikingvideos@gmail.com. As always.
Okay.
But here,
Before you start, though, I am going to wish everybody a good
no,
night.
you're going to listen to this. You're
Solid
going to listen to
extra
this
hour.
one story. You're going to listen to this one story.
No. I was looking for a good segue. You've moved on to your next
got
segment.
9
That's a
sentences.
good time for me to sneak out silently. And I will see you next week.
You're not really silent at this point.
Is your refractory period that quick? That's pretty impressive for.
Lance, all the Alaboomers are going to go away now that Richard's gone.
Yeah,
that's true.
I'll talk to you
3
guys
listeners.
Now there's a ghost story.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, Rick.
Yep.
And
All right, now here
now.
Here, so here goes. This comes from a
Nice one, Kabuki.
what did Kabuki say?
She's got a horror story for you. Trump is our president.
There you go. I was at a slumber party in 8th grade with a few of my friends when we decided to try to have a seance in her unfinished basement. We were having fun and laughing and trying to figure out who we should summon. And somebody said, "Hey, why don't we see if we can get Jack the Ripper?" And I said, "No, I don't think we should. I don't think we should summon something evil." And then we heard a man's voice say, "That's right," from the other side of the cellar. And there were no boys or men at the home, only her friend's mom who was upstairs. And and every one of us heard it, and it sounded exactly like it was somebody else in the room.
I'm such a sucker. Look at that. Goosebumps. Legit goosebumps.
Wow.
No, I get like that. Like, that's why I love horror movies. Like, even if they're bad, like, I get so I love horror stuff so much that it gets to me.
I would
that little story.
I would say horror. Like The Conjuring's not really a horror film. It's just a scary film. It's a real ghost story.
Yeah, I guess that's a better point. Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to explain that to my daughter. She was like, can I watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre now after she watched Conjuring? And it's like, no, because that's a horror story, because that's just blood, guts, and scary monsters. But Conjuring is just a story of a family in a weird situation.
Here's another one. This is only a few sentences. I used to. It's like. There we go. Back when I lived with my first boyfriend, I would always go to bed before him. Sometimes I would hear him come to bed, and he would play with my hair and kind of like laugh and try to wake me up. Usually I would be too tired and I would stay asleep. Sometimes I would wake up and just keep my eyes closed and go back to sleep anyway. One night he did the same thing. I heard him come in the room. I heard him lay down next to me, and I heard him kind of laughing a bit and start playing with my hair. But I just woke up briefly, then went right back to bed. When I woke up in the morning, he wasn't in bed, and there was a text message saying, "Sorry, I had to work late all night. I'll be home in the morning." Yeah. So there you go.
I got one.
Go.
Nothing major, but I remember I was like 19, driving in Tennessee late one night, driving home, and pitch dark, no street lights. Guy starts riding my ass, like right behind me.
Nothing worse than that. Yeah.
All of a sudden, lights are gone. We're on the side of a freaking mountain. Lights are gone. Just freaked the hell out of me. Still have no idea. Like, there was no turn off. There was no nothing. It's just his lights were immediately gone. And I mean, he was right up on me. It was the kind of thing where it was just like, God, just like one of those ones where you like get uncomfortable and it's like, God, why is this guy so close? And there was just nothing. Nothing major, just It stuck with me all this time. Like, what the hell happened to that guy?
It was the ghost of Large Marge.
I've done that actually. I've had someone up my ass late at night, and I
Hey.
really no spooning involved.
No judgment on the Alaboom After Dark.
Alaboom After Dark, ladies and gentlemen.
This is a story for a different channel.
Get yourself 3 fingers of whiskey and let's let the good time roll.
I switched my lights off because I was in front to see what would happen.
Is that what you call it?
He backed off. So you maybe want to try that. That scared him. I switched my lights off, and he could, it was raining lightly, so it was, the road was a bit obscured.
Yeah, that's freak anybody out.
Yeah.
I'll be back in just one quick moment, gentlemen.
Oh, you're gonna miss my story. Oh, I'll save it. Save it for another.
I think we should leave them. Let them come back to an empty channel. I'm getting ready to go to bed anyway, so. I don't have any scary stories.
I don't, because I don't believe in that shit.
Yeah, I don't either. Oh, wait, I guess I have a scary story. So this one time I was on the Alaboom, and Lance wanted to talk about something. That's it. That's the story. 8 hours later.
Yeah, I remember this time Lance messaged me and said, "Do you want to be on my podcast?" I said, "Yeah, all right." And half the podcast was him talking.
That's every podcast, isn't it?
Oh, did you guys do the Essen preview already?
Nope, didn't do it.
Groovy.
Because there's that much excitement from Essen this year.
Yeah, only Richard was the most exciting.
Richard was the only one. Everyone else is like, there's a couple games. He had like 25, but he's a big Euro player, and that's his show. That show is his Gen Con, basically, like to us. Gen Con, even this year's Gen Con, I didn't have a ton of stuff. It's been an off year in general. Most of the games I've been excited about are games that have come out sporadically throughout the year. It just, like Essen doesn't do any. I'm more excited for Keyforge in November than I am for anything at Essen or all of Essen combined. There's just nothing that excites me. But I'm not a big Euro guy. I'm more of an Ameritrash player, so my stuff comes out of sporadic throughout the year.
Oh, did you get a chance to play any of those decks?
I've played them all.
Any particular ones that stood out? They're like, oh, that's my favorite.
Not one of the ones from your stuff, but one of the ones I got from the FFG had the rare Neutron Shark as the rare card in the deck.
Oh.
So the card, the deck's kind of built around getting the Neutron Shark out and then doing a bunch of shit, and then he goes away. So
the Neutron Dance. He did Neutron Dance?
Basically, yeah. He does something to the effect where he takes out everything with damage on it, and then he goes away. So you kind of sprinkle a lot of damage on him and then pop him in, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I've been enjoying the game. Okay. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun game. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about all the different combinations and stuff that'll come out with that game. And but that's really it. There's not a lot of the L5R RPG just came out, so I'm super excited about that too. We've made characters and we're starting to group up this next week coming up. So, I mean, that's the things I'm most excited about board game wise. So really, it's kind of like a lull at the end of the year, honestly, for me at least.
See, I've got so much to play still from Gen Con. I've worked through about half my Gen Con pile, which is insane, but I still got half. But yeah, I actually was really interested in a lot at Essen, but can't do it every year. Hopefully next year, me and my wife will go. She said she'd do the camera work for me, actually. So I was like, sweet.
Nice.
Hopefully she's got a steady hand then.
Yeah.
What?
Hopefully she's got a steady hand.
She has a photography background.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool then. You'll be perfectly lit and your beard will look bushier.
Oh, this thing's going to be gone. I just told my wife, this is my bucket list. I've always wanted to have a beard. But this is the year I'm actually going to grow a beard. It might take me till Christmas, but I'm going to have a beard that looks like an actual man's beard.
Beach fuzz.
I tried Endeavor tonight. You guys played that one?
I've got the Kickstarter copy. It came in last week, and I got it all put together and everything organized, but I haven't played it yet, but I want to. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I got my game group last night, and I really like it. It's a very mechanical game, but it's really I really enjoyed it. And it's did you get the Kickstarter with all like the extra stuff?
Yep. Got the
Oh.
full Kickstarter on it with all the
Yeah.
bins and everything. Yeah.
It looks like the kind of game where like if you really liked it, no two games would ever be alike because like you put in 3 alternate rules each time, and they're big alternate rules.
Nice.
I liked it a lot.
How long did it take you to play? What's the play time like?
Let's see.
Like 90 minutes or less?
Yeah, I think it was about less than 90 minutes.
I think the box says an hour, but I guess your first couple games will probably run a little long. But it was easy to learn. Like I've heard, it's not horribly hard once you get the gist of it.
It sounds more complex than it is. My buddy, he like prints off all the stuff and laminates the stuff from Board Game Geek, like the cheat sheets, which helps a lot.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think we probably had it about 75 minutes, and we had 3 new players.
Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it. I'm hoping to get it to the table this weekend.
Yeah, they ended up winning by 3 points, and it was we all really liked it.
Has anyone played Chronicles of Crime yet?
Nope.
No, I'm hoping to get that in the mail soon. I did the Kickstarter video for him, so I'm hoping to get that in the mail soon and get that played because I have a feeling that's one that I'm going to just absolutely demolish with my wife when it gets here.
Yeah. I hadn't demolished it with my wife. We got stuck on the second scenario. But she's so engrossed with it. We played it immediately after it, and it was just like scan. Yeah, we know what you said. Scan. Right, now what do we do? This is where we got stuck.
That's the part that I do dislike. I don't like the fact that you have to go back through everything. But I don't know if there's a good way around it.
There's not really.
Because there's sometimes you miss details too.
Yeah, the only way around it is if the murderer is different each time you play the same scenario. So maybe the setting's the same, the character's the same, but maybe the murder victim's different, and then you've got to piece it together. But it still comes back to the same murderer. I hung out with Gillen Madsen, who designed Not Alone. He's doing the story for Redview.
Aren't they doing a kids version too? I think he said they were doing like a family weight version of it.
No. Oh, well, yeah, in the future.
Yeah, because that really got. I was talking to Vincent. I was like, "Whoa, that would be amazing!" Because the kids, man, the VR just blows some of those kids' minds.
Yeah.
Oh, I love VR. I was playing that tonight. I got a Oculus Rift. I was playing a shit ton of VR this afternoon.
That's the only reason why I really want a PlayStation because I can't play Rift on my computer. But I was thinking about getting that because you still have the Oculus Go, right? The one that's just the rig.
Yep. I got that too.
Has that improved since you got it, like the games and stuff like that?
It has a little bit, but I'm waiting for the Oculus Quest, which comes out next year. It's $399, and it's basically a wireless Oculus Rift that doesn't need a PC to run. It's going to be basically playing Rift quality games wireless, but it's going to be like $400. But they announced it at the Oculus 5 event last month, and there's videos on it. Google, just put on YouTube Oculus Quest, and you'll see videos about it showing tech demos and stuff. It's going to run a lot of the same games that are on the Rift.
Yeah,
that's what you want. That's the one you want with 6 Degrees of Freedom and all the like. It'll have Super Hot and it'll have Catan VR and all that stuff on there.
Whoa, little
VR.
Super Hot.
Yeah, Super Hot.
I just recently got into that game. My internet was down. I went through about half the game and I was like, God, why have I not played this more before? Yeah, I want to get my son something like that, but I don't know if I want to get the 300. I don't know. I'm probably going to check Black Friday to see about the one that you got. Just the headset.
Yeah, the Go should be. It's like $200 on Black Friday. You can probably get it cheap.
Ooh, yeah, I might do that. Ooh,
Chad,
what is that? That's a nice box.
This is not a game. This is a figurine. You all know Crossmasters, don't you?
Yeah.
Crossmasters is based on an MMO. A French MMO, and there's also a cartoon series based on it as well. So this is like one of the characters from the second season called Remington. A friend of mine gave it to me. So it's not a game, but it's a collector's figurine. We're big fans of Wakfu here. So obviously we got all the when we got Crossmasters, we got all the characters from Wakfu, like Hugo and Evangeline. So not a game, unfortunately. Doofus MMO, yeah. The Doofus world. Can't remember what I was going to say.
Indeed.
Yeah. Chronicles of Crime I was talking about. Oh, God. Such a scatterbrain.
Played Lance, new game. We can talk about that while he's gone. The
What?
Ghosts of the Moor or whatever, the TMG release.
Eh?
It's a great family game.
Hmm.
Not so much a game night game.
Okay.
It's this weird roll and move game where you're just trying to set collection, roll and move. And it went over really well in my classroom, and I was expecting to go really well in my game night tonight, and it did not go nearly as well. It was more like a ho-hum, like, that was good. Like the kind of thing where nobody would ever request it ever again under any circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
But family game, yeah, it was great. Liked it a lot. Good artwork. Components were disappointing.
Do you think Lance has gone to see the postman or those two kids at the door?
I don't know.
Oh dear, what did I play yesterday? I just picked up a copy of Rallyman for the Kickstarter, so I wanted to play that yesterday, but couldn't. Yeah, not really much on the Essen front, apart from Alone. The other great thing about Essen is I get a chance to pick up a game topper from Berkey.
Ooh, nice.
And then I got to drive it all the way back here with him. And then hopefully my van doesn't break down.
Nice.
Always nice. Yeah, we got to get a new tire. $300 for a new rim.
But yeah, another game I'm looking forward to. It is Ecan or ICANN, designed by my friend, who's a big game reviewer here. It's been like 3 years since morning. I've been saying that they're going to release it, and they keep putting it off by pushing out other titles. And it was going to be a Kickstarter, then it's not a Kickstarter, then it was going to be a Kickstarter, then it's not Kickstarter, but it's coming out this year, hopefully.
ICANN?
Ecan, IKAN. It's a dungeon crawl, but it's a dungeon crawl for kids.
Ooh.
But it's a dungeon crawl for adults as well, because you can up the levels as you play. It's basically a memory game where one player will create a dungeon with tiles, and then you'll have an objective. So you'll be the hero. You need to go into the dungeon. You need to find the key to release the princess. Well, sorry, this is the old version, the prototype that I played many years ago. But yeah, you need to find the key to release, to grab the artifact like Indiana Jones, and then you need to find the weapon to kill the snake. But the thing is, once the dungeon's been constructed and these pieces have been put in place, there's a shield placed over it. So you've got to remember where to go. And so you're basically going to be calling out, all right, my character is there. I'm in the dark, because it's that. You're in the dungeon and it's dark. There's no light. And so you've got to memorize the dungeon and say, right, okay, I'm going to go forward. And the dungeon master will say, yeah, that's fine. No worries, you can go forward. Oh, I'm going to go left. Yep, you can go left. And then you've got to remember, is this the space with the key? Because if you walk past the key, you won't find the key. If you say, oh, pick up the key, and the dungeon master says, yeah, you pick up the key. So yeah, I've got the key. So it is basically a memory game. And every time you hit a wall, you lose a life point. And you give it basically to the dungeon master. So it's a game where you got to keep your score higher than theirs. And every now and again, you can ask for a clue, and they will give you like 20 seconds to look at the map and then close it back down. But it's really, really light and fun for kids. But you can up the level quite drastically. You can play it with like 4 players, and you can have one player playing a monster, like a gelatinous cube, who can eat the hero. But also the hero has a pet, which can help out as well, who can actually fight the gelatinous crew. So it is a memory game, and it's also like a 2-dimensional memory game where you're thinking, right, if he's there in the labyrinth and I'm here, maybe I need to move forward one space. So it can become quite, intense in the fact that, you could walk right past another character without knowing that they were there.
I like the artwork. But
The artwork.
yeah, I'm looking at a Board Game Geek, and it's got all the components and whatnot. It looks really cute.
Yeah, it's a really clever box as well. It's like the Onitama box.
Yeah, it looks like
It's
Yeah.
like that, but when you open it up, that becomes the shield, and then it's all trays, and so all the components are in trays.
Yeah, is that what that's really nifty.
So yeah, it's a great production on it, and it's a game that my daughter loves. She loves being the bad guy in the dungeon, even when we're like playing, Descent. She loves all the big monsters. Come on, Dad, you're the hero. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Alrighty, gents. I'm out. I need to get some sleep.
All
I will
right.
see you all next week.
Later on, Pete.
No, you won't. I'll be at Essen.
Oh,
Oh, is that next week?
yeah.
Wow. Oh, I'm so jealous.
No, I'm not. Bye.
Nothing to be jealous about.
Oh,
If anyone should be jealous, it's me. You get to go to conventions every bloody week, don't you? Oh, there's one up in Illinois, and there's one down in San Francisco Bay.
no, not with the family. I get Gen Con, and now I get Origins. Those are the two I get, and then I can do some local ones, like locals, and like I can drive there 20 minutes. But until I can, make more money out of it or make it a full-time job, no, my wife is gracious enough to let me go Gen Con, Origins, and probably Essen every other year if the Kickstarter will allow it. But no, I mean, I'm jealous of Essen because, I loved Essen more for the culture more than anything. Just because I've never been outside of North America. So just Europe and I went to Amsterdam and different parts of Germany. And just when we go back, I want to go to Scotland. I want to go all over Europe. I like it. I like it a lot. Just learning about different cultures and learning about what people think about our culture. I really like that.
It is interesting. It is. Again, when you compare, who's got their volume up? When you compare Essen to Gen Con and to the UK Game Expo, they're all different kettles of fish, even though they are practically the same thing. It's the people that make the event. It's not the event itself. It's it's like your workplace. If you're hanging around with people that are like-minded, your job is fun and you enjoy your job. If you're working with people that are like put offish or they have a different point of view about life or whatever, your job doesn't become as fun, and that's the same with conventions. It's like different people have different mentalities, and obviously the way that they do things affects the ambience of the whole room. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's one thing that I wish I got to do more at conventions was just see more. Like when I'm at a convention, I literally probably work about 16 hours a day, 16 to 18. Like,
Wow.
and I wish I had more time to just do stuff with people, but it's like I feel the pressure of like, oh, people sent me here, people paid money so I could go, and it's like I just bust my ass. But luckily, I go with two of my best friends, so I get that. But yeah, I wish I could get more of that, the experience of just hanging out after the show and just shooting the shit, drinking beers, playing games, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's the best part, just hanging about, I find. I try not to. This year I'm working for Bombay X. So I've told them, look, I'll work for you, no problems, but I'm going to need like 2 hours off every day so I can go and make contacts and catch up with friends and get, demo copies of games. They said, yeah, fine, no problems. That's 2 hours less we have to pay you. And I'm like, okay, fine. But yeah, that's the thing. I never try to schedule too much. I just wander around, and it's, I don't know, it's that freedom and not that stress of having to run around and, oh, I've got to be here and, oh, I've got to film this. And it's like, that's the one thing I don't like about being at conventions. It's like when you got your camera with you, it's like you are obliged to film shit so you can get some clicks. But I prefer just going to a convention and not filming anything and just talking to people and occasionally playing a game. It's just so liberating. It's just, I don't know, it's like how you want your life to be at home.
Yeah, that's what I did at Origins this year. I tried doing like a big Origins bonanza last year. I shot like 140 videos. I didn't get that many hits. And this year I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to play games and do nothing but play games with my friends and then shoot impression videos. And it was so liberating. Like I still, I'd go back to the hotel room and shoot, impression videos, but it was just, yeah. Yeah, I agree. Just the freedom is spectacular.
Yeah, and there's nothing worse than filming a video when you're burnt out. It's like, okay, what's this game do again?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a deck builder. Sorry, yeah. All right, thanks for your help, George. Mike. Oh, sorry, Mike. Yeah, that was Mike from. Whoops.
Do you ever like the most fun I've ever had when I have fun at
It was about 5 minutes ago when you're in the toilet. No.
no, but no. When I've gone and had like fun, like a lot of fun, like was like at Gen Con a couple of years ago. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with my daughter this time, but it was like a different thing. But for me, this one it was like I like when I went with my wife, and like the first time, I think the first year we went to Gen Con together, like we just took a day to like wander like the whole floor, like, and just check things out and just allowed ourselves to like, oh, that's cool, oh, that looks cool, just like that kind of thing, and not worrying about being me at all. And like you were saying, it just like, being able to just kind of relax. And I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a lot of fun. And you get caught up in that stuff where it's like, I don't know. It's I don't enjoy going to conventions. I mean, when I have a ton of stuff I have to do, where it's like I got to be here at this time, and I got to be here at that time, and I got to be back at the TMG booth at this time. I realize it's my job, and I can't really complain about that because I have a pretty awesome job. But man, it's like take all the fun like straight out of the thing. And that's what it does. And conventions are about, conventions now, admittedly are, like for me, it's like, it's like I'm trying to, like, figure out what our company is going to do, and like, hey, isn't that cool how we could, get this game, do that, or that game looks cool. But for me, it's just like, I kind of miss being at Gen Con and not, really working at Gen Con.
Yeah. I was talking to Jamie Johnson from Holy Grail Games yesterday, the day before. They're always telling me that conventions and events like that now are more just business meetings. They go there, they look at prototypes, they talk to distributors, and they work out financial stuff. So for them, it's no fun anymore. It's work for them. It's not the excitement of teaching someone your brand new game. It's not the excitement of seeing your best friend and hanging out for 2 hours when you could have been sat at a table playing a game, but just sitting there and talking. So yeah, it's a different world for you as a publisher, as a reviewer, and as just a customer.
Completely different experiences. I will say though, I still love. I disagree with. I personally am different from Lance in the fact that I love the stress. I love the hustle. I love the bustle. I'm like, oh fuck, we got to be here in 12 minutes. Like we have to be here in 12 minutes, and we have to go shoot this. And I told them I was gonna swing by to pick up this. Like but then again, I also have attention deficit hyper disorder, so I love the fact that it's like I love cramming in as much as I can. Phrasing.
No. 2 ounces of beef jerky.
Different strokes for different folks, though.
Yeah. Should we go back to ghost stories, Lance?
Why, you seen a ghost? Do you want to tell a ghost story?
No. My wife keeps telling me. She's told me a story that when she was living in England, she was actually sleeping in Bewley. There's a lot of haunted houses in Bewley, and she said that one night she woke up and there was someone at the edge of her bed, and that freaked her out.
Yeah, that would freak anybody out.
Yeah.
Even it was like real.
Yeah. But me personally, I think I see stuff. For example, this house here is her granddad's house, who died about 5-6 years ago, and he was an alcoholic.
Why are you echoing so bad now?
because
Weird.
someone's got their volume up.
Ain't me.
Is it me? I haven't messed with my volume.
No,
Let's see, is that better?
possibly, yeah. So, yeah, so we moved into this house, and I'm echoing still. My volume's not up.
Yeah, mine are in my headphones, so I don't think it'd be possible. But anyway, go
Must
ahead.
be
Just
me
keep
then.
talking.
Okay, so yeah. So we moved into this house, and we had to clean it all out. And because he was an alcoholic, there was bottles everywhere, and corks, and, you know, we had a swimming pool, not swimming pool, little fish pond, sorry, at the bottom of the garden. And when we dug that up, the foundations was all broken bottle glasses. So yeah, every time I come over to this room, which was a garage, which we converted into my little studio, I have to walk over the trap door which goes to the cellar, where there were lots of bottles, and they were all empty, unfortunately. So we moved into a house which was empty of bottles, unfortunately. So every time in the morning, like especially now it's dark, I walk without the lights on, and I always get this sensation that he's going to be there when I walk out past the trap door, and I get the shivers down my neck, and I'm almost tempted to like close my eyes and just like feel my way around the corridor, or maybe even switch the light on if I'm brave enough. But it's never there. It's just all in my head. All in my head.
Yeah. So no, okay. Here's one. They got. My 2-year-old has been getting out of bed. He gets out of bed every night. And this is sorry. It's always around 2 to 4 a.m. and he talks a lot, but still isn't to the point of being able to tell me exactly what's happening. So I basically, he says, "Mom, I'm scared."
I want to stop and say, I feel you. My 2-year-old now is at that phase, and forget that phase. It's terrible.
Okay. And then he points to his room. It's one night he begged me to come sleep in his room with him. So, it's like I've often thought that there was something weird going on in my house, but never really experienced anything personally. So I laid in bed with him, and my husband comes in, tucks us both in, then shuts the door. I fall asleep, but then there's blackout curtains in the room, so there's no light from outside of the room that gets in. And then I looked over to where the door had just been shut, and right in front of the door, there was a form that looked like a figure that was darker than the rest of the dark that was in the room. At first, I thought it was my husband, and then it started moving towards me and the bed. It was so real, and the movements were so normal that I called up my husband's name, and that's when I knew that it wasn't him. It stood at the edge of the bed, looking down at both of us, and when I reached out my hand to touch it, it vanished. Yeah, I was fully awake the whole time, and it wasn't my eyes adjusting because I hadn't been staring into any light prior to it. But I picked up my son and dashed to the door and told my husband all about it. He's an atheist, but he believed the terror that I felt, and we all slept in the one room that night. I had a friend come over the next day, and they are a Wiccan, and they helped me bless the house. And my son's been sleeping better ever since. I personally think something was in our house trying to watch us and possibly do something worse.
Nice.
Freaky stuff.
That is freaky.
Goosebumps again. I got them. Legit.
Yeah.
I rarely buy into, I don't know. And it's just, I have trouble believing stuff like that. But
I have trouble believing because of the circumstances that have happened to me. So I remember when I was at school, I made up a story that I woke up one night and I told all my friends, I woke up one night and I saw this white form and walking past our playground out by the back garden. And then one of my friends said, "Yeah, I saw that too." And it's like, I'm just making this shit up, you know. And they were so convinced. They spent the whole day talking about it. It's like, oh. But I've got screensaver on the other TV here, and I keep seeing pictures of my dad. Another reason why I don't believe. About 12 years ago, my dad was diagnosed with brain tumor, In the last 2 years, so 2015, he was put into a retirement home because my mum couldn't look after him anymore, and he was losing all of his ability in his body. So he had a good run, because they said when he was diagnosed, he'd had like a year to live, but he lived on 12 years more. And so like all the time that he was in the home, you know, it was really hard. We couldn't Skype or anything there because they had no Wi-Fi or internet. And so it was a case of whenever we went over, we would go and see him. Whenever we went to England, that is. So, you know, it would be like 2 or 3 times a year we'd go over because my wife works and things like that. But I remember there was one night I woke up crying and I dreamt about my dad. And I said, he's gone, to my wife. And she comforted me. And then, you know, we had that light on for about half an hour. Then we went back to sleep. And then at 5 o'clock in the morning, the phone rang. And so look, the first thing I thought was, shit, my dad came here. He imprinted a dream into my head. But no, it wasn't my mum phoning. It was her mum phoning. And it was something completely different. And then later on, I had another dream about my dad, and I woke up almost crying, not so severely. But no, he wasn't dead again. It was like, okay, fine. So yeah, there's nothing to this. Because again, my wife's told me stories where she's had dreams about someone that she knew, and then they did die, and it's like, right, whatever. But no, that's why I don't believe. I've had a few dreams where my dad had gone, and I believed when I woke up that he had gone, but he hadn't. Unfortunately, he should have gone sooner, a lot sooner, because he suffered at the end. Yeah, it wasn't nice, and we all suffered.
I can imagine.
But hey ho. You
know, the weird thing about, like, if you ever like do research into, like, if you ever notice, like, if somebody says, oh, here's a picture of a ghost, okay, so like you can go on like all kinds of, you can go down a deep dark hole in the interwebs and read about it, right? So the ones that look clear look fake. But the ones that are like a shadowy image or something where you have to kind of wrap your mind around it, those are the ones that people have an easier chance of buying into.
Yeah, the optical illusion ones.
Well, I mean, it's the same with horror movies. It's just what's scarier is what you can't see exactly, you know? I hate when I see a horror movie. It's just like, oh, there's a killer. There we go. Just slashing people up. No tension. I mean, but when you see just that figure, just that shape that could have been something, it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, I think of, like, Hereditary, which I saw earlier this year. Just scared the piss out of me. Most scared I've been since Blair Witch Project. There's just, I rewatched it. There's just so many times where it's just like you think you see something out of the shadow of your eye on the screen, and it freaks you out even more. And I mean, in real life, I mean, that's the worst, when shadows start moving unnaturally and stuff like that. I've got an odd question for you, Lance. Do you know if you can get a review taken down on Board Game Geek? Like, if you request, like, let's say somebody just bashed, you know, a TMG game and was like, it's stupid because mine had a leaky pennant or something. Is there a way to take a review down? I know this might be
I think you can petition them, and if, like, it was written in some way just to be, like, just try to be hurtful, or you know, if it wasn't like actually reviewing and it was something that was like, you know, like a personal attack kind of thing, then I think they can do something like that. If it's just a person who reviewed it and said this is the worst game ever and this is why I think it's the worst game ever, and they actually said something, you know, I don't think there's anything you can do about it. I mean, there was recently a thread on Board Game Geek of somebody that was like basically saying that, like, the person had, like, in the review they accused the publisher of like plagiarism and how they had like stolen aspects of other games to create the game that they had. And the and then like they had contacted the person like specifically and said, take down your review, and then the person kind of doubled down and was just like, note this person, like, they tried to tell me to take it down, and they were like, they kind of attacked me in an email, and like, and so then the whole thing of course blew up, and there was a big complaint thread about it. That was fairly recently. So I don't think so. Why do you ask?
Oh, I was just curious. Just out of personal curiosity.
Why are you going to do a bad review of a TMG game or something?
Oh, no. Well, I mean, no. I'm going to review Ghost of the Moor tomorrow.
What do you think?
Great family game. Not so much game night game. I mean, I think it's okay to good as a game night game, but as a family game, the kids in my class, they ate it up. They like the artwork. They like the simple roll a new mechanism, but the interesting choices of where you move stuff. I mean, it had some component issues though. Like I don't know if you guys saw it, but I mean, it's just it's harder than it needs to be to figure out which way you're going on the track. So when I played it tonight, like we had 3 or 4 times where people were like counting out their moves. I was like, oh no, it's this way, and then. Like once you get more than 3 meeples on a spot, it gets like you have to put them to the side or stack them up weird. And if you bump
it is a smaller game, but I never ran into that problem. Odd.
What's that character from Home Improvement? The neighbor. You can only just like see his hat and his eyes.
No, not Al.
Yeah, that's what Forrest is on this show.
Wilson.
Wilson. Wilson, yeah.
My webcam's all willy-nilly.
Yeah, so.
All right. Here you go. Here. This is a longer one that I got here. When I was 8, I would walk home to my town home, approximately 10 minutes away from my school. I would be home by myself every day for about an hour and a half because my parents worked and my older brother went to a different school. I always used this alone time to sink onto the couch and watch cartoons before my family came home and took over. I actually really enjoyed the time alone. I was raised in a very Christian home and I was very sheltered. I would get in trouble watching Power Rangers sometimes because the bad guys were too evil. I remember being taught that after you die, you either go to heaven or hell. You don't get to say whether you're going or not. So that means that there is no such things as ghosts, or so I thought. One day after school, I came home to the same routine, but this time standing in the corner was a dark figure the height of the door frame staring at me. It looked like something out of a dream. It looked like maybe a Grim Reaper, but minus the scythe. It had a long, black, tattered robe, and I thought I could see the skeleton. It was the most disturbing thing was that it was grinning at me. But even though it looked like it was a skeleton face, it had a long grin. Now, keep in mind, I had never even heard of like the Grim Reaper before, or like things like Nightmare Before Christmas. Of course, I was startled, but I literally didn't believe what I was seeing. I remember saying loud, "Wow, my imagination," and I just kept myself. I just kept calling myself I was a stupid little kid, and it helped me make sense of what I saw and made it easier to deal with because I didn't believe in ghosts and because there wasn't any such thing as that. But then I would see it almost every day. It would never say anything, and it would always look at me and like lean its head as if to say, "I see you as well." But it always left when my family came home. But I saw this thing every day for 3 months. It started to get more aggressive the more uncomfortable I was. I would start to think I was going crazy. And I would tell myself that it didn't make sense, that I was crazy and I wasn't seeing a ghost, but it didn't matter. It would just stay right there. I would see it every single day. But then the thing started would cut me off. It would try to stop me from going to my room upstairs. It would move slowly, as if it was underwater, then quickly zip by, and then would go right up to the stairway, leaning over the staircase while looking me in the face and trying to block me to go to my room. And I was stuck in the little corner of my couch with the skeleton, just wanted something from me. I didn't know what it wanted, though. I never told my parents because I thought they'd think I was crazy. I was afraid my parents would think I was just being a stupid little kid and wanted attention. My brother would probably just say that I was a loser and tell everyone to make fun of me. One day I slowly walked home with about 6 inches of snow on the ground. I came home and this thing, like every day, was waiting for me. I sat on the couch, scared as always. This time it zipped in front of my face and it took its hands and shrouded them over my face as if it wanted to grab me, and then it zipped back. And this is the first time ever I screamed as loud as I could and I ran outside. But my parents came outside to me crying and sitting in the snow. My parents asked me what was wrong, and the first thing I said was, I'm sorry, I'm stupid. I have a stupid imagination, but you're never going to believe me. And I told my parents, and I expected them to look at me like I was crazy and send me to my room and like make me look under my bed for monsters. But they turned to each other and said, "Why didn't you tell us about this earlier?" And that scared me even more because it sounded like they knew something was going on. My parents had never told me anything that would scare me before. My parents told me that their truth told me the God's honest truth, as if I was grown. They told me that the people that lived in the house before us had a little girl that supposedly had been possessed by a demon and had taken their own life. My parents immediately poured baby oil into a cap, prayed over it, and put a dab of it in the shape of a cross over every door and window in the house. After that, I saw it once more. It was looking inside the house from the kitchen window. And a week after that, it was gone, and I never saw it again. I've never believed anything that was paranormal. I sometimes look back, and this is over 30 years ago, and I think this was all kind of a dream. But I really did see this every single day for 3 months.
Wow. I was believing that story up to the point of the baby oil bit.
I like how weird. That's what turned you off of it.
Yeah.
It's the baby oil.
No. So I got the baby oil, but it was like, this is really interesting. It sounds like, you were recounting your daily life. And, it had me hooked. And I was like, yeah, that's possible. Because, again, I got memories of, being scared of my staircase and corridors because of, back in the 70s and 80s, light bulbs weren't as powerful as they are now. And, if you've got a long corridor and there's one measly old light bulb which has been there for 4 years and gathered dust and nobody's been able to dust it, that corridor looks dark and dank. And when you're told to go to bed and your bedroom's at the end of that corridor, man, you run. You run just so you can get in your room and dive into your bed.
Because that'll save you.
Oh, yeah, that saves you every time.
When you're a kid. Yeah.
When you're a kid, your bed is the safe zone, right? I used to make sure that I slept directly in the middle. I would tuck my arms in underneath, and I would not move. If I felt there was a presence in the room, I would just not move. If I needed to pee, I'd pee myself. It was simple as that. I would wait for my mum and dad to come to bed before I go, I don't feel well. And they would come in the room, switch the light on, and then I had this excuse not to, oh, you're not well, Barry, you peed yourself. Oh, dear. You're all hot and sweaty. Because, you'd cover yourself with your blanket, and you wouldn't move, and you just start sweating because you were so hot. And that was it. Mum would phone up the school the next day. Oh, my son's not very well. He's got a temperature. No school for you. But, no, seriously, that's what I used to do. I used to hide in the middle of the bed. I used to have this fear that there was this hand, like Cousin It, not Cousin It. Cousin It is the hairy one, but Thing. It was Thing, the hand, wasn't it? But I used to have this fear that there was this hand underneath my bed, but it was like this big. And I remember waking up from sleep with my foot dangling out the bed, and I felt something touch it, and I was like, shit, it's that hand touching me. But yeah, just an overactive imagination I had as a kid. There was nights when I changed rooms, I used to see shadows and think there was like a wrinkle in the curtains where the fabric, it was sewn fabric of some sort, and it would create images of faces on the curtains as the moonlight or the street light comes through, and it used to freak me out. And there used to be I used to see a shadow behind my door, and that used to freak me out. And one day I turned around and said, look, talk to them, give them names, and make them your friends. And it was from that point that I started to lose my fear of phantoms and spirits. It was a case of that's George and Henry over on the curtains. That's Big Dave Blonde, because it was it was taller than the door almost, this shadow that I used to see, and it was like, ooh. And the hand under the bed, I didn't give a name. I was just like respected him. But yeah, fear is a wonderful thing. Fear makes you see things that you are not really there. Hence, like I said, I see her granddad by the cave, by the cellar door. Cellar door. What's that from? Sexiest word in the world is cellar door. Ask Donnie Darko, innit? Yeah.
The thing is that, like, if for things to be scary to me, they have to be creepy. They can't be like flat out scary, right? They have to be, and I can't even really get scared about malevolence, because I can't. I have trouble buying into, like, oh, this thing wanted to, like, possess me or like throw rocks at me, or I have trouble buying into that stuff. But if it's something that's just creepy, I mean, I think, this is what I allow myself to believe in this stuff. Because a lot of times the cynic in me takes over and I just can't do it. But when I want to let myself kind of buy into this stuff, the way I see it is, I think it's the more open you are to it, it's a double-edged sword. The more open you are to it, the more likely it is that you're going to, like, experience that stuff. But it also is the more likely that you're going to convince yourself that you're experiencing it, right? And like stuff that's like normal, like I've told the story before, but like there was just the guy that, like, that like said that people would, like, get feeling of uneasiness in his house, and that this is a pair of ghost hunters that actually, like, are in my area, and I talked to them, and one of the things is that they went to this guy's house, and, like, he said there's certain people that just, like, there's certain sounds or certain things that you can perceive but you can't perceive, like, but they have an effect on you. They have effect on the way you think, or they can just, because it's just it kind of reverberates something in your skull or whatever. And so he talked about that, and he said that he went to this guy's house, and there was, like, this room in the house where it wasn't all the time, but, like, during certain periods of time, he said, my wife and my daughter won't go in that room, and they won't be even close to that room at certain times. They just can't handle being there. And so ultimately what is that, so that guy went there, and he said he also had, like, some weird, like, ability to experience like extremely low frequency sounds, like things that you can't normally hear, but he has a reaction to him when he said his daughter was the same way, and there's just certain people that do it. Turns out the guy, and he had a furnace, and when the furnace would turn on, it's like, oh, it gets cold in the house, so it automatically turns on. Like, when he was looking in the basement, he noticed that, like, the furnace had this big giant 2x4 on the top of it, like, wedged in there, and he's like, what is that? And the guy said, oh, it's, and because it's up in Meyer, it's Norwegian mechanics. And he's like, what? And so, like, and he said, oh, well, the thing was making a huge rattling noise, and, like, would be trying to bounce, like, the furnace would kind of rumble, like kind of like just shake a little bit. And so it would stop shaking and make a bunch of noise. So what he did was he took this 2x4, cut it down, and wedged it on top of it, and wedged it into one of the support beams in his house. So it was wedged in place, so it couldn't vibrate. And so when his furnace was turning on, the thing was still vibrating a little bit, but it was vibrating the 2x4, and then it was vibrating, like, the support beam that happened to be, like, right underneath that room. And they all were just experiencing this extremely low frequency sound. It was causing them to just feel uneasy. And, like, and then as soon as the guy got his furnace fixed, it went away. It was just gone. And so, like, stuff like that, it's like my mind will say, oh, it's something like that. It's just and like, I'm allowing, because I've read too many books, I've watched too many scary movies. I'm buying into it. And that's why it's, freaky. it
there's
doesn't
actually
feel real.
there's a board game designer I know. He's been affected by radiation. I know this may sound crazy, but it's true. He has a condition that he can't go into certain places because the frequency of the sound in the room makes him sick. He actually physically vomits. It's really strange. But as you're saying, the frequency, the sounds that we can't hear affect maybe your hearing as well as your body. You don't see them, you don't feel them, but there's something inside you which actually does. Really, really strange.
Here's another one. Here goes. I moved into our new house 3 years ago. It was a cool little cottage in the woods. It seemed totally normal and not spooky during the day. It's a 2-story house, and me and my wife have always felt like it wasn't just us in the house. 90% of anything that seems off is upstairs. There's a guest room up there, and there was a just put it in there until we can figure out what to do with it place. And it's just we since furnished it and decorated the room. Upstairs is a bathroom that I use. I shower and do my business up there. I go up nightly, reluctantly, but I do it. Anyhow, about a year, and that's how I had that. I had a bathroom in the basement of my parents' house that there was nobody else down there, but that was my shower. When I was young, that was I'd be in the basement all by myself in the shower. I never liked that. Anyway, anyhow, about a year in, my wife and I finally cracked, and we had a discussion one night and said, "Does that guest room feel off to you?" Immediately, it was just an, "Oh my gosh, yes." Well, without hesitation, we described the ghost to each other: a lady in a white nightgown. Granted, we've never seen anything, but it's weird, and we had the same image. We'll hear walking and just living noises upstairs, doors closing, furniture scraping on the floor. Last Thanksgiving, my wife was away visiting family, and one night I heard what sounded like someone trying to bust down my bedroom door, a loud slam against the door. I locked the door and didn't sleep that much that night, and I'm 40 years old. Last night, we heard what sounded like newspapers being crumpled in the kitchen. Lots of sounds that aren't house-settling type creaks and thumps. There's definitely sounds of activity in various rooms. The kids' room is upstairs, and they can see the guest room. My daughter's bed gives her a straight shot down the hall to the guest room. She's 10 and insists that I shut the guest room door if it's open. We've never discussed the room feeling weird to her, though they go in there and watch movies before bed and have no complaints. Going back 8 years, I had a house that also felt weird. My daughter, who was 2 at the time, would wake up screaming. Not crying, but screaming. Once my son came along, it stopped, but it didn't. You'd go in his room and lay him. I go in his room and lay him on the changing table, and his eyes would lock on a corner of the ceiling every single time. I always had a weird feeling I was being watched. The only other thing I remember is coming home one day and every single cabinet was open. In the kitchen, the laundry room, the bathrooms, every single one. And all of us were gone that day. As a kid at my parents' house, I remember going downstairs at 2 or 3 a.m. I pivoted and saw a man standing in the living room, dressed in a dark suit. He looked at me like a grandfather would look at me. I was no longer thirsty, and I went right back upstairs and went back to bed. Another time, I was playing a video game in my room, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw a shadow with arms reaching. It was so detailed, I could see the shadow of all 10 fingers.
Wow.
I wonder if it's something that's just attached to me. I don't know. I feel like ghosts I feel like all the ghosts are just different people, and they do different things.
I'm a molder. I want to believe. For years, I used to believe. I used to always go to the library, and the books I used to get out were Asterix or Lucky Luke or ghost stories, true ghost stories. And I remember reading a shed load and scaring the pants out of myself. But it's really, really, really hard to believe when everything that you experience, you can say, well, no, I can counter argue that. It's like when I watch Harry Potter, I can counter argue everything. This whole story is stupid due to the fact that, why don't they cast that spell? Why don't they do that? They're wizards. They should know not to trust that person.
I got an interesting moral question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just scrolling through my news feed, and I saw from my local television channel that they pulled somebody out of a river, that she wanted to commit suicide. So she went to one of our 3 big rivers and just jumped in, gonna drown herself. She posted that she was gonna do this, kind of said goodbye on Facebook Live and whatnot. And the police were able to track the location of her cell phone to find her. So they used all this police resources to stop someone from committing suicide. Should they do that?
Yes.
That's a tough one.
Yes, they should. Well, we don't have. I mean, the thing about the thing is that somebody jumping into the river, and this is an incredibly selfish thing, but the reason for it is somebody jumps into the river. People are going to try to save you. People are going to risk their lives to try to save yours.
Okay, I do want to start off by saying there was next to no chance anybody was going to see her. Like, we have a huge river. She was down by the banks. Like,
but you say that, but the thing is that say she walks into the river, and this is just anybody. Say she walks in the river, she starts to drown. All of a sudden, she changes her mind. She doesn't want to die. She starts screaming for help. Somebody hears her. I mean, there's so many different parameters. You say there's no way they're going to see her, but there's so many different parameters. There's so many different things. The problem is that it's like, and plus, here's the deal. She says she wants to die. Hey, you know what? I get it, but I mean, does she have and this is horrible. Does she have a terminal disease? Does she have a thing? No, she's probably has a mental illness. It's something that can be treated. It's something that can be, like, through treatment. She can be helped, and she can have hopefully a normal life that's being lived to their fullest. And it's like there's the two things. It's just like you are putting rescue workers and normal citizens in danger if you are going to go do it, because if you try to do it in some way that people are trying to stop you, they can get harmed themselves. And two, it's like, yeah, I get it. If you're like terminally ill and you're in constant pain and you want to end your life, that's a different story. But if it's just because you're sad or depressed or you're the chemical balance in your brain's off, no, let's try to help those people. Let's try to fix it.
So you think they should use police resources, though?
Yes. It is against the law to try to kill yourself.
So, okay. So you did mention an interesting point there. So you are against euthanasia, but
I'm not against euthanasia. I never said that. I said that if you are in constant pain and they're basically, it's like you might live another 3 years, but it's just going to be like miserable.
So you think you should only be able to kill yourself in that circumstance?
What other circumstance would you propose that would be okay?
Me personally?
Yes.
You want to kill yourself.
That's
why are we dictating?
Okay. What if your 12-year-old son wants to kill himself? You're just gonna say go ahead?
The same reason we don't let kids smoke cigarettes or kids get tattoos.
Fine. I mean, your 18-year-old son. Your 18-year-old son comes to you and says, "You know what? This isn't for me. I want to kill myself." You're gonna say, "Oh, here's the gun."
No. But I don't think we should use police resources to stop them.
But you just said what's another? I asked you a question. What's another reason that we should let somebody kill themselves? You just said they want to kill themselves.
Yeah.
So your 18-year-old son, his only reason to do it is I want to kill myself. Would you let him?
No, I would not. But that's my personal son.
Okay, but everybody else's is somebody else's personal son or father or friend.
That's their job to try and do that.
But
it's not my job, and maybe nobody tries to stop this person.
Maybe, but police resources should be used because they're to protect people, even from themselves.
And obviously, it wasn't. She didn't really want to do it because she did a cry for help. She did a Facebook message. I mean, when you think of like Robin Williams, did he do that?
No. That river was cold as hell too. It was like in the fucking 50s today.
Yeah. Again, as Lance says, it is kind of a waste of human resources, but at the same time, it's practical because there's going to be a knock-on effect. Someone's going to find that body if you know, she did die, and that's going to be shocking for them. And then the police are going to be involved anyway because they're going to need to try and figure out, is it a suicide or did someone kill them?
I think, yeah, I do agree with that point. I think, like, could you imagine your kid finding that? You know what? From that perspective, I do agree. But I do think you should be able to kill yourself if you want to kill yourself.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
obviously,
say that, but then I'm telling you, like, what if it's one of your loved ones? You're like, no, I'm going to try to stop them.
I would. No, those are two completely different things.
No,
I think he should have the right to kill himself if he wants to, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to stop him. Like,
but it isn't,
they legalize
so as long as it's somebody you care about.
My son could smoke it, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to try and stop him from smoking meth. I mean, so they're two completely different things.
Okay, so but here's where your fallacy is coming from. As long as it isn't somebody you personally care about, it's fine.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. I think everybody should have the right to do it.
Yeah.
I think the fact that we dictate anybody's body doing anything that is not going to physically hurt somebody else is ridiculous. I mean, it's the same reason that I'm pro-choice. I feel like you should be able to do with what you want with your body. Now, I understand that's going to bring up the whole. We're not even going on.
If you're going to say that, though, I agree with you. As long as it doesn't impact anyone else.
Yes, and yes. Then you get the argument about the baby, the human life. But this is about the suicide thing.
No, right? no. I'm not. I mean, I'm not arguing. But like you taking your own life, that impacts so many more people.
It does.
Yeah, but if they're aware of everything that you are going against with your life, you know, if they're aware that you're in pain, if they're aware that you're at the end of your tether because you've got no job, you've got no money, your family's gone, there's nothing for you, your friends are 600 million miles away on another planet, you know, then, you know, as long as everyone's aware that that close circle of friends that you have and family that you have, and they're aware and they're happy for you, you know, because you know, we can't help you. You're a problem, or we don't like you, or whatever. You know, it should be just. It should be just.
What if you're going to go to prison? Like you're talking about the terminal illness. What if they say, all right, you're going to spend the next life in prison. You're going to spend the next 25 years in prison. Would that be an exception that you'd be willing to make if someone would rather do that than go to prison for 25 years?
But
like every time
every time you ask, well, pedophiles, I mean, if as long as they haven't been wrongfully accused and whatever, I mean, you'll just bury him in the prison yard. I mean, it's just, you know,
you can't have it both ways. You can't.
Well, no, you're asking me an emotional question. You're going to get an emotional response.
Okay,
fair point. Here's the thing: is that you, of course, when you're going to ask, you're going to come up with these parameters that instead of saying, what if it was one of these things? Ask yourself before asking that. Say, what if it was my son that wanted this? And then you'll have the answer to your question.
No, that doesn't answer the question. That's apples to oranges, Lance.
It is not apples to oranges. You're trying to remove the human aspect and make it into an inhuman question.
If my daughter said that to me, okay, we'd have the biggest and longest chats ever. I would, you know, obviously try and find out her point of view of the world and everything. I would talk to her, you know, try and find resolutions to her problems. Again, if I didn't believe, I would fight against it. But if she convinced me that her life was not worth living, then yes.
So, Barry, do you see what I'm saying, though? I feel like those are different things. I feel like Lance is comparing apples to oranges. I believe that everyone should, like cigarettes. I believe my son should have the right to smoke cigarettes when he's 18, but God damn it, I hope he never does.
I'm the same. I hope my daughter doesn't smoke cigarettes.
But that doesn't mean I think there should be alcohol.
If she does, then she does. It's like my sister. I don't like the fact that she smokes, but she does. You know, I'm not her, and I am her brother. And that's it. That's the line ends. You know, I can advise her, and I can say to her every time that she pops outside, "Oh, you smelly BH." You know, you know, that's her life. That's what she wants to do, as long as she's not hurting anybody else.
I just thought it was an interesting talking point because I've never heard of anything like this before, where the police they pinpointed the cell phone. It sounds like something out of a movie almost. but it actually happened. My little Hodong town.
It does
Yeah.
happen.
All right, here's another one.
This is a horror story. You go back to scary stories.
About 10 years ago, I lived in a pretty active house for 3 years. I was about 18 at the time, and this stuff started small, but it escalated. On the day that I moved in, the neighbors greeted us. They were a nice older couple. I had a quick little conversation, and they said that the past 3 groups of people that moved in there moved out after about a year or so. I didn't think anything of it. As we unpacked everything, I went into the attic to put away some storage boxes, and I found that the attic was already plumb full of boxes, full of just random stuff. Clothes, some old toys, even an old Atari system. We thought it was weird, but we made room for our things, and we left it all there. The house had a creepy feeling from the start. That whole being watched feeling, and sometimes the feeling that you were somewhere you shouldn't be, especially in the hallway. We had a couple of cats, and they would be laying down and then look up and seem to watch something cross the room. And then sometimes they get up and follow it into the next room. There was nothing there. There weren't any bugs, no mice, nothing. So about 6 months later, we started hearing footsteps in the attic. Just people, sounds like moving around, people wearing boots from one end of the house to the other. And then we would hear some boxes being slid across the plywood floor as well. This almost happened like every day for like a week or two, and it wasn't like squirrels because they were just too loud. A little while later, my girlfriend at the time moved in with us, and she witnessed what we had, and then more started happening. We were up late watching TV, not every night, but some nights the TV would just turn to channel 5 on its own. It was always between 3 or 3:30 a.m. And the cable box would still display whatever channel I was watching, and the remote would stop working. I would have to unplug the cable box to get it to reset. On the back door, there were those long blinds that would clack against the door with the slightest movement. On 2 occasions, my girlfriend and I watched the bottom corner of the blinds silently be pulled away from the door about a foot, like somebody was looking outside, and then just slowly be let down. One day, I went into the garage and I opened the door from the kitchen, and the big trash can we kept just to the left of the door immediately slid about 2 feet to block my way into the garage. That was the first time I felt genuinely scared of whatever was there. A while after that, it got intense just for me. On 8 occasions, I felt like I was being slapped in the face moments after I laid down in bed. It wasn't the falling feeling you get as you fall asleep. I was completely awake and aware. It was an audible smack, and my head was forced into my pillow. My face would be cold and all pins and needles, and every hair on my body stood up. Every time. Most times, if I looked quickly, I could see a dense black figure in my bedroom doorway, and those were the only times I ever saw an apparition in the house. A little while after that started happening, my grandparents came to visit. My grandpa always said he used to see ghosts as a kid, and so I was interested to see what he felt. Within minutes of coming to the house, my grandpa looked left to right, shook off a chill, and said, "You guys live here?" So that pretty much just confirmed that we weren't crazy. We told him a little bit about the activity, but not everything, because it would have turned into a week-long rant from my grandpa. Anyway, the next day I woke up and he was already awake. He immediately led me to the hall closet where we all have always had the feeling that we're somewhere we shouldn't be. He said he got up last night to use the bathroom, and when he passed the closet, he stopped and felt like he needed to open it. He said he saw a small dark wooden door with a silver metallic handle. As soon as he reached for the handle, it disappeared, and all he saw was drywall. He then opened the closet door and pointed to me that there was about a 5x5 completely walled off space behind the closet, with the faint outline of a small door that had been drywalled shut. Basically, a small, inaccessible room. We tried to look up history in the house, but couldn't find anything. Shortly after that, we all moved out. I've had a few other experiences since, but nothing like that house. That house was proof beyond proof for me. I believe. See, I would have broken down the wall. And maybe I'm weird, but yeah, I would have broken down the wall. Find the skeleton or whatever that's hidden back there.
Just to confirm it.
Yeah.
It's incredible that people have these stories. I'm not dissing people that have these stories and saying, yeah, you're talking at your friggin' ass. No, I mean it's experiences that you have in life are your experiences. We could go back to the old suicide thing there. You've had your experiences and you think that this world is not worth it, But yeah, it's amazing the stories that people can tell about things that have happened. And respects to you. You've experienced something that we haven't. And I think that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for that real experience of, yeah, there was a ghost here.
Well, then I read a really great essay, and I think I've mentioned this before, but I read a really great essay about like it was a why paranormal stories are bullshit, basically. And they were like the name of the article was "The Best Photographs Are Fuzzy." and it was like that was all about it. It was like people who said they saw UFOs, or people said they saw Bigfoots, or any of those things. It's like nobody ever gets a crystal clear picture.
No.
Of anything.
Or there are crystal clear pictures, and they say, well, that's strange because they weren't there. They were dead 2 days before.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. It's like, and then now everybody's got a really great camera on them pretty much everywhere they go. And
nobody's got any pictures.
Yeah, we don't have pictures. Or have you ever seen like pictures of like UFO, like people are trying to take video with their phone? And it's like the person's having a seizure while they're taking it because they can't, hey, hand the phone. I mean, this is horrible to say, but I mean, hand the camera to the guy with Parkinson's and have him do it. Nobody ever has like a tripod or anything like that to hold it into. Just
no. Again, when they zoom, it's just like even worse. It's like, oh, God, fuck. But yeah, I remember there was about 5 years ago when I was working in the vineyard. There was this cloud formation which looked like a cylindrical disc. It was amazing. Everyone had. I didn't have a phone with camera, but a few of my friends took photos of it because it looked like multiple rings.
Lenticular clouds is what they're called. But
yes, what they're called. It was amazing. Yes. We were just looking up and we go, "Wow, that could be a spaceship." And then, like about 2 or 3 minutes later, the cloud formation had moved and it didn't look so round and perfect. But almost believe for a second it was Independence Day.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I mean, it's like there's definitely also just like creepy places to be in. Like have you ever seen those pictures of like the broken down malls? Like they find the old like mall that's like completely closed off. People are inside, and it's like all like the crap in there. Then, yeah, I don't know. I like that stuff.
I know the scariest place I've ever been was my aunt's old farmhouse. They had like this a cellar, and the cellar was attached to this old schoolhouse that had been shut down, and like. It was like, don't ever go in there. There's like rusty stuff and whatnot. But of course, but me and my cousin Lincoln, we were like 12 years old. So of course we're just like, forget that. And we went in there a couple times and it was just the creepiest thing because it was the old schoolhouse had been torn down. So it was just the cellar of the old schoolhouse. And it was just, it was just, like just thinking, like I'm just getting goosebumps just thinking about it. It was, because it was like a preschool type thing. So there was like creepy old dolls and stuff down there and just all sorts of kids' toys and clowns. And,
I'm going to finish up by saying I love being scared. I love hearing these stories. And
I like being scared too, but then like sometimes it gets, like there are times when like I like being scared, but then it's like, okay, let's turn on all the lights and just start like playing loud music.
Those are the best. I love when things elicit that out of me. I said it about Hereditary. Like I ran from my car into my house and immediately turned on all my lights. Just
I've told the story before, and I apologize again, but like the most terror-filled nights of my life were like. My friends and I, there was a group of like 5 or 6 of us, and we would get together and during the summer and that was back when my mom would basically throw me out of the house at like 11, and like I wouldn't come home until like 8, 9 o'clock at night during the summer. And I would just get on my bike and like I'd take my $5 that I had to my name, and we would bike to the mall and just hang out and go to the arcade and buy a hot dog and whatever. And then when we decided it was time to go home, my house was the last house. So we're all biking together, like as a group, right? And then it was just like, and it was like, like really cool camaraderie type of thing.
I gotta go.
Oh,
like I said, toddler, 2-year-old waking up. I gotta go. For
all right,
just
later.
wake my wife up. Night, guys.
Night, guys.
No, and I remember like when it finally dropped off, and like the last kid before me to go to bed, like this guy, my buddy Darren, like my house was like the furthest out from all the other houses. Like everybody else is like right next to it. Yeah, and so no, but mine was like, okay, now I gotta like leave because like you just hung together, right? And it was just like you like drop them off, and I was in a development, so I had to like bike like down a street and then like take a big left and then go through some like winding roads, and eventually I'd get to my house, and it would take me another 10 minutes or so, and I'd always sit there and I'd stare at my shadow because in the street lights, and like I stare at my shadow getting bigger and getting shorter because I get to and so like I'd be biking and like the street light would be like on top of me, so it'd be like the shadow would be tiny, and as I was driving, as I was pedaling away, like it would get longer and longer and longer until I got to the next street light, and then like the shadow would like get behind, so I would just sit there and watch that shadow go back and forth. And I remember I was turning to my parents' cul-de-sac, and like the entire time I would be staring at the shadow, I was like, one time I'm gonna look at that shadow, and I'm gonna see something is right behind me. I'd always have this like feeling of like there's something right behind me. There's something right behind me. And like as I'm biking home, and my mother would get so mad at me. I literally like I wouldn't even bike in the driveway. I'd bike across our lawn. I would jump off my bike, and I would race to the front door, open the door, and like unlock the door with the key I had. I mean, I'd have that key in my mouth. I'd take it out of my pocket. I'd have it in my teeth, so I wouldn't have to search for it in my jacket.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd race, and I'd unlock the door, and I'd close the door, and I'd lock it behind me. So whatever monster, werewolf, alien, whatever that my mind had come up with that was going to eat me, I used to dread having to go home. But I remember I'd always race in, and my mother would always like, just why didn't you put the? Because like I was supposed to go and open up the garage, pull open the garage door, park my bike. It's like that bike's gonna get stolen. It's in our front yard. Just like she gets so mad every single time, and then she'd be like, "Go, did you put the bike in the garage? No, we'll go put it in the garage." I was like, "No, because the monster's waiting outside for me, waiting for me to leave and go back outside."
That's an excuse to get from your kids. It's like, why didn't you do that? Because there's a ghost. It's like, oh god.
Yeah, I would else. Hey Barry, have you ever heard the 2-sentence horror stories?
No.
So these are great. Like there's contests for people to write like 2-sentence horror stories.
Mm-hmm.
These are chilling. Like here's one where it says, a young girl hears her mother call her name from downstairs, so she gets up out of bed and starts to head down. As she gets to the top of the stairs, her mother pulls her back and whispers, "Don't go down there. I heard it too."
That's the most spine-tingling thing I've heard today. Wow.
Yes. I woke up to hear knocking on glass. At first, I thought somebody was at my window until I heard it come from the mirror again.
That's a nice one as well.
This is the creepiest one, and this one, like every time I read it, like the picture in my head. Ugh.
All right, I just put my cup down below off screen just in case I wet myself.
Yes. I begin tucking my son into bed, and he tells me, "Daddy, check for monsters under my bed." I smile, and I look underneath for his amusement, and then I see him, another him, under the bed, staring back at me, and he whispers, "Daddy, there's somebody on my bed."
That's very Roald Dahl. Or Tim Burton,
Yeah.
I wish I was intelligent to write something like that. Oh,
Yeah.
I wish I was intelligent.
After working a hard day, I came home to see my girlfriend cradling our child. I don't know which was more frightening, seeing my dead girlfriend and stillborn child, or knowing that someone broke into my apartment to place them there.
That's more of a joke.
Yes. The last thing I saw was my alarm clock flashing 12:07 before she pushed her long, rotting nails through my chest, her other hand muffling my screams. I sat bolt upright, relieved it was only a dream. But as I saw my alarm clock read 12:06, I heard my closet door creak open.
Mm. You know, you were talking about your riding home with the key in your mouth. I would have never have done that with the key in my mouth, because I know if I'd screamed, you drop the key. You fucked it, didn't you? You'd be clawing on your front door. No. In your hand. Ready? I always, when I was a kid, it was like you put the key in between your knuckles. So if something did touch you, you just swing at it with the key. Your only weapon as a kid.
You're familiar with the comedian Lewis Black?
No.
Okay, Lewis Black is a very noted. He's a comedian, very angry kind of guy. He's a playwright and a bunch of other things. I read his autobiography, and it was really, really well done. He talks about all the kind of some of the weird jobs he had, and he talked about how he was working in and he says, I'm gonna tell this story. He presents it like this. I'm gonna tell you this story, and I'm just gonna present it as it is, and I'm not going to tell you. I'm not gonna try to read anything else into it or anything at all. But he lives in New York, and he got a job, like whatever that lake is in upper New York, and across the lake is Canada, and he got a job in Canada, both working as a playwright, but also doing like construction and because that's like because he wasn't making any money doing other thing, but he was working as like a contractor in construction, and then he was basically like this the place where he was fixing up, they also gave him a room there, and that was like one of the big things that he wanted to take the job, was because he had a place to stay and a place to live. And he said it wasn't every night. He basically was in this like cottage up in the middle of like nowhere, and just like, nothing really around. And he was just expected to fix up this place. It was part of his job. But he said he'd go to sleep, and not every night, he said, but there were many nights when he'd wake up in the middle of the night in this cottage in Canada, and he would hear a baby crying. And he'd just wake up and he'd hear it, and but he was living in this place by himself, and he says it wouldn't make any sense, and he just couldn't figure it out, and he would just go back to bed. He said it wasn't until after he was done with the job and like he had moved out and everything like that, somebody told him that before it was legal, it was a place where people from New York, women from New York, went to have abortions done.
Mm.
Yes.
Mm. Well, you were telling that story with your eyes closed. I was a bit freaked that you might open them with Michael Jackson Thriller eyes.
No. I can't move, breathe, speak, or hear, and it's so dark all the time. If I knew it would be this lonely, I would have been cremated instead.
Yeah, that's one of my fears. That is one of my fears, being buried alive. And you hear stories about, people that partially die, their heart rate drops so low that doctors presume them dead, and then they bury them.
I was having a pleasant dream when what sounded like hammering woke me. After that, I could barely hear the muffled sound of dirt covering the coffin over my own screams.
Yeah. I can't watch films like that. They are real horror stories for me.
Yeah.
I am a claustrophobe.
I always thought my cat had a staring problem. She always seemed fixated on my face until one day when I realized that she was always just looking right behind me.
I was having a dream and my nose was itching. As I went to itch it, the cord around my neck gripped and the claws around the back of my head closed tighter. Face hugger.
Don't be scared of the monsters. Just look for them. Look to your left, look to your right, under the bed, behind your dresser, in your closet, but never ever look up. She really hates being seen.
It's like I tell my daughter, don't be scared of ghosts and monsters. They don't exist. Well, actually, monsters do exist. It could be anyone that you know or someone you don't know. Be scared of man. Man is the scariest monster on the planet. Profound words for early morning. I'm going to have to go because the family's going to start waking up and I've got to change nappies.
You got to change nappies. All right,
Yeah.
so...
Yeah, I'm the nappy changer.
Well, that's nice of you. What's nappies?
Nappies. Diapers. Pardon.
Diapers. I should have figured that out. Yes.
Figured out.
Hold on. I'll read you one more. Okay. It's like I look into the mirror and I see my reflection blink.
Oh, that you have to think about that one for a second, don't you?
Yeah, you're like, oh, my sister says that mommy killed her. Mommy says I don't have a sister.
This is like one of my favorite subjects. I could just talk and talk and talk and talk about it. As I said, I don't believe, but I just love it.
Yeah, it's just being scared is
it's like an orgasm.
Yeah, it's you have
live
to
orgasms on YouTube.
All right. Barry, thanks for hanging in there and being the last one standing.
And one of the first ones as well, for once.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you haven't backed the L4 Kickstarter, please do so. If you have backed it, go back it again. But yeah. Any final words of advice, Barry?
Yeah. When Badass Force comes out in November, going back that, you'll have a whale of a time.
They need to send me that.
Yeah, they should be. I've just picked up my English copy, so that should be on its way to you soon.
All right, cool.
They were talking about you all weekend. So this lads guy, what's he like? I said he's my best, cuddliest friend.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Hey, yeah, cool. Well, that's awesome. Well, thanks a lot for everything, everybody.